controls them, full spectrum dominance. And when we talk about, for example, things like the Council on Foreign Relations or the Bilderberg Group, or we talk about like the Trilateral Commission, or we talk about the IMF and the World Bank and the Bank of International Settlements, et cetera, or even corporations like, investment firms like BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street, what we're talking about here is essentially the centralization of power and to certain systems, into certain either corporations or banking cartels that control all of these aspects that are in our lives. And therefore, they direct where the funding is going for certain research. They are the ones that will, say, give somebody a certain amount of money or whatever to do certain research and tailor that research so that they can get the conclusions that they want. From the individuals doing the research, whether it be a university or a corporation or, a government entity moving money from one hand to another. So when we talk, did we lose Andrew? That's a bummer. Maybe he'll come up here in a second.
I think he might be going away like I did to try and come back.
Okay. Yeah, let's hope he does, because I really have some questions for him. So ultimately, I think because this is essentially a psychological war, because it's a war of information, and information warfare or psychological warfare is based on three categories: information, which is true; disinformation, which is false; and misinformation, which is a combination of true information and disinformation, which is false, to create a misinformation narrative that whoever pushes the misinformation narrative ends up controlling the minds of the people. So when we see the artificial inflation of certain doctors or scientists or certain narratives within the Mockingbird media, then we're really beginning to see who is behind this misinformation narrative and why it is that they're trying to push it. And how long this has been going on is actually very, very important, because when we look and we see like the string of abuses that we're talking about here, whether it be Judah Berry Baker, all the way back, decades and decades ago with the weaponization of cancer and the aerosolizing of cancer, or it be things like the Tuskegee experiments or radiation experiments, COVID, all of these things, they all are coming together and they're all a part of the same machine. And they're all intended and designed to control the minds of the population. Now, while we're waiting for Andrew to come back, Charles, I don't know if you want to touch on this, but I've heard some things, or maybe Kevin can. I've heard some things about the way that the COVID virus itself actually affects the brain and penetrates the blood-brain barrier and actually kind of changes people's minds. Can you speak to that at all?
Yes, I certainly can. It was from bitter experience, and just having to spend the last 4 years, it's coming to, 4 years, that we're dealing with an agent. All coronaviruses, but the human ones, are known to be neuroinvasive. Right, so there's multiple entry routes into the brain. There is one of the primary ones is through the olfactory bulb nerves, and it will climb through nerve fibers, rest itself in the brain, and then start spitting out toxic peptides to try to run the individual system down. We could get into discussions about whether viruses can change behavior for their benefit, etc. There's probably a conversation for a different day. But you can certainly predict that there would be impacts on behavior in the florid, febrile state, hallucinations. Neurocovid is a documented condition now that's associated with the disease, and it's not unique in being able to get into the brain. There's a number of viruses that do that. Influenza is one. Japanese encephalitis virus, HIV, one called JC virus. There's a handful, but clinically and from a neuroscience perspective, we're interested in these.
In the spirit of fairness,
and particularly in my field, before
the girl Jenny, his co-host, she did take that shit off the back of her picture, that where we go on, we go all flag shit. She took that shit off the back of her picture when we told her the other day, so do want to point that one thing out.
Brilliant. Where we had a diagnosis where we would say, well, we would call someone who developed Parkinson's, it would get a classification of idiopathic. We don't know why they developed Parkinson's, but we know the symptoms and we know the sort of underlying neural changes. Same with Alzheimer's and other neurological and dementia disorders. And the thinking had become that there are peptides, brain peptides, that are associated with each one of these conditions. So I'll just stick with Parkinson's and Alzheimer's as being the sort of canonical diseases. And in about 2015, there was a very, very important paper which essentially unified the way we looked at these diseases and the way that the disease progresses in brain architecture. And we said that these peptides that are impacted somehow, and the prevailing hypothesis was it was viruses. If I had to put money on it prior to COVID, I would have said my money was on herpes, being one of the primary drivers. But what was developed was a framework of thinking about these, the way these disorders progress, that overlapped very strongly with prion disorders that are traditionally associated with diseases like Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, or what are technically called transmissible spongiform encephalopathies. And this is the same type of disease that is going through the deer population in the US, cows in the UK, etc. There are various forms. Interestingly, there's a camel version that's come, and that may be on the back of mares, maybe. I don't know. That's just a hypothesis of mine. But the fingerprints of these disorders, we do have some, it's not perfect, but we have a more relatively granular view of what's happening at the molecular level up to the anatomical level to the behavioral symptom level. And as these concepts were sort of unified and overlapped, I was arguing that SARS is problematic. It was known to enter the nervous system. We've known that from the original SARS. And my concern was to be talking about these, what are called, I don't want to get too technical, but they're called amyloidogenic sequences. And amyloidogenic is essentially a type of, or it's protein misfolding, essentially the same as Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. And what's happening in the transmissible spongiform encephalopathies, and if it's too technical, I'll interject with a question. Right, so though
Come on. Get your fucking shit.
You cut out for me. I don't know about you guys. I can't hear.
Yeah, I can't hear him either.
Okay. Well, let's hope he gets to come back here in a second. I'm trying to put up this graph that you have here of the SARS-CoV origins and numbers on Twitter, followers, natural origins, defending scientists, etc. I'm trying to put that in the bubble up here. Go ahead, Jenny.
I believe that it's in there. It's on the side too. I'll get up there.
Well, and so what that image is and was, hopefully we'll be able to get it up there, but the first major thing that I was investigating as a member of Drastic turned out to be scientific censorship led by Fauci. And in addition to that, I've looked into suppression across different platforms, and one of the things I noticed, I discovered when I went back into the Internet Archives, and I went and looked at Twitter handles of scientists who became an integral part of the origin debate, I noticed that a bunch of them had sudden exponential increases in their followership on Twitter during the exact same month-long stretch of time in early 2020. In fact, during the same week, roughly, from I want to say it was March 21st to March 29th of 2020, everybody that I found, with the exception of Peter Daszak, every single person that I looked up became a verified user on Twitter in that same week span. This is back during a time when that was something that Twitter bestowed upon you. You couldn't pay for it or anything like that. So they got their check mark. And they also had sudden impossible exponential growth in their followership to the point where there's someone named Trevor Bedford who in January of 2020 hit 14,000 followers. And then a month later, for about a 6-week span, he was gaining more followers per day than Joe Rogan, who at the start of 2020 had 8.6 million followers. So during that span of time, this random nobody on Twitter was gaining more followers per day than Joe Rogan.
That sounds like an explanation of why that election.
And he's a nobody who was, and the only reason he was relevant is because he was explicitly pushing the narrative, in particular, to suppress the existence of the Fury cleavage site and the existence of these HIV-like inserts. So you can see where certain individuals, as part of the overall narrative construction and censorship complex, all the way back in 2020, in early 2020, they were artificially boosting people and I'm sure already suppressing others. But you can see it very clearly when you go back and look at the data.
And it's full spectrum dominance. Once again, if we look at the Twitter files and the way that things like the Hunter Biden laptop was suppressed and that story, or the way that they were suppressing people that were talking about the lab leak and talking about not trusting Fauci and stuff like that. I mean, it all begins to make sense. And if you look into the scenario plans, once again, if you look into the scenario plans about this stuff, what you find is that the response that the government had and that all these institutions had, including social media and the Mockingbird media, it was right in line with this scenario plan that was rolled out time and time and time again since 9/11. So, I mean, at this point, it's quite clear that there are very nefarious forces attempting to suppress the truth. And were it not for people like yourself, Charles, or, you know, Andrew or Kevin or the whole multitude of your guys' group there, we wouldn't have any of this information. And I think it behooves everybody in the audience to follow these individuals, share their information. And now that Elon Musk has come forward and owned Twitter, we actually have at least a little more reach. We have the ability to do a little bit more.
Correct, yeah. Oh, and by the way, Kevin just came back in, if we can bring him back up as a speaker.
Roger that.
But yes, you're right. It was full spectrum. And pretty much everywhere we looked, we saw that censorship and narrative manipulation was taking place. One thing that I did, I came to realize that the way the scientific censorship was being handled was Fauci was basically working with the top 6 journals, and the top 6 scientific journals. And this is a big deal because we're talking about there's 25,000 academic journals out there. And so I'm talking about just the top 6 most known, most highly respected journals in the world. Scientists try to get 1 or 2 papers in their career published in one of these journals. And it was through those journals that they suppressed the lab leak discussion, or lab origin potential discussion. And so one thing I did was I took, and I think this was in March of this year, where by that point there had been 258 articles published in these top 6 journals, or their like sub-journals, everything underneath their title. So you have Science, nature, cell, proceedings of the natural. Oh, yeah, we can hear you.
I was doing a whole monologue about the risk of prions, and it got missed on the space. But how much did you hear from me?
It just it cut out about halfway through, so we don't.
Now, really quick, before you get into it, Kevin, prions or prions, isn't that the stuff that it like degenerates the brain, and it's actually very prevalent in cannibals that eat human brains and stuff? Is that the same thing?
Yes. I see.
And that's a microbiological organism that exists in the body, and then when you ingest it, it ends up affecting the brain dramatically and causes for all sorts of negative side effects. So if they were able to isolate the gene that does that, and then they can end up splicing it somehow into a virus, then they could essentially create a super virus of sorts that ends up targeting the brain, correct?
Yes. And this is potentially what we're looking at. So I don't know if someone could relay where I got to with respect to, did I even get to talking about prions? And
yes. Bro, you can pull up.
And, well, I'll try and do a shorter version, which is SARS-CoV-2 has epitopes on it, which are...
I'm sorry, Tim, can you tell us what an epitope is? Because there's, I don't know. What exactly, can you define that for us really quick?
Yeah, so epitopes are sections of a protein that are X number of bases long, but typically we talk about functional epitopes, meaning that they're reactive across a number of amino acids. And in this instance, what I'm going to talk about is a 20 amino acid long segment that sits on the S1 segment of the spike protein. The S1 segment of the spike protein gets cleaved by furin, and then it's released either intracellularly or outside the cell. And basically what happens is that you've then got a length of peptide protein that has on the end of it, because it's positioned right at the end of this peptide. And so that in itself is already very suspicious. But what we now know is that 20 amino acid sequence specifically catalyzes the formation of, and I'll just have to correct you a little bit when you said it's a microorganism. What we're talking about here with a prion is a peptide, a protein, way, way smaller than any microorganism. Okay, so but down at the molecular level, we're talking, and not something we have a good idea how they do it, but they become infective through what's believed to be a change in the protein structure, and they cause a domino effect and misfold other like proteins, and sometimes different ones as well, but that's a more broader discussion to be had. So we have this position in the S1 segment, and then we have this specific targeting of catalyzing the human prion protein into what's technically called the scrapie form. Scrapie meaning it's the disease, the Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease in sheep. That's where it was first observed several hundred years ago, and the moniker stuck with a prion protein. And in this process, or in the analysis of this peptide sequence, you can basically do a search across public databases and look where you would find a similar stretch of amino acids, and you'll be surprised that there's a lot of overlap, especially in sort of viral and bacterial proteins. You'll often put in a sequence and you'll get 50% another variant of SARS, other, take a pick, bacteria, peptide, the list goes on. You'll usually get a whole list. You can search for this 20 amino acid sequence. It's only found in the synthetic chimeric spike protein of the Wuhan strain. And this is an extraordinary finding, because it's only within the last year that the scientific world has basically put forward the idea that there can be prion catalyzing epitopes from viruses. And one has been found in an influenza virus. The work hasn't been published yet as to where in the influenza virus that particular epitope is. It could be
So then why are you speaking
anywhere,
on it, bro?
but in SARS, it's in this very
These niggas crazy, bro.
I'm not sure useful
No
is the
fact-checking at
right
all.
word. Dangerous position.
Straight up echo chamber.
Like I said, once it becomes freeform, you can basically think of it as like a spear with a piece on the end that, when it touches a prion protein, will cause it to misfold into this disease form state, and then it by itself can then propagate that pathology all through the brain. And this is the level at which they're doing this biowarfare research. And we must do everything that we can
He did not
to
quote
force
one
transparency
study,
on these
nothing.
people, release all the research that they have
You
been
just
doing.
saying shit.
They can't hide behind national security in this instance. It's too dangerous. This epitope, basically, no one would have picked it up prior to this Hammerstrom and Nystrom and said, we need to look there with our detection methods like PCR, etc. And it would have got through any monitoring, and it's out there now. It's out there, and it's not. It's worse than if you were dealing with a virus, because, okay, H1N1 influenza may cause misfolding of protein, prion protein. Well, okay, SARS being a respiratory virus, you could say, well, we accept that burden, right, to maintain our lives. We have a health system to help people who are susceptible to that, and we calculate that into everyday existence. We now have
really, Kevin, forgive me. I'm not trying to interrupt, but I just want to kind of condense everything that you just said in kind of a layman's terms. Is basically, this is what I'm understanding you to say. What you're saying is that prions are an amino acid that have a certain domino effect in the brain and the proteins in the brain, right? That's number one. That's correct, yeah?
Right. Yep.
Okay, so then the sequence for this amino acid was then placed into the genetic sequence of the COVID-19, what I like to call the COVID-1984 virus. And
so there's a slight difference there, which is
okay.
This is a novel sequence. There's one other sequence used in prion research, which they use to have this type of effect. So it's known in that field that you can have these short chain amino acids catalyze the transition to the disease state. This one in SARS-CoV-2 is unique. It's completely different. It doesn't match. There's no overlap or homology with the other known catalyzing epitope. It's completely novel, and its position is extremely concerning, especially after we've transfected billions of people with it.
Okay, so then basically what you're saying is this novel aspect to this prion portion, or this prion splicing into the COVID virus, is essentially detrimental to human brain function, and it causes the cascade toward the disease state that prions cause?
Yes.
We've never seen it before?
Never seen it before. Completely new.
Which is indicative that this is based on genetic manipulation and the manufacturing of a bioweapon.
Yes, I would say that this is the product of epitope engineering in the biowarfare domain space. And
the folding proteins, we began to mess with that recently too. Since we mapped the genome and since we started to deal with the proteins and even the nanoscale, it's almost like we kind of went another route. What do you think the end goal is? Like, what would there be a way to I mean, it's not an enhancement, I'll tell you that, but I don't understand the widespread use of something that would completely change, the biological structure of human beings. Unless,
well, there's lots of reasons to try to understand why protein enables, the boilerplate response on any grant application that would be doing this was that, it will help in drug discovery, etc. Maybe.
Well, here's the thing, and I hate to kind of go off track here, but I know that you guys have a time limit, and so
I go as long as you need, bro.
Oh, okay. I knew Charles did. So what I'd like to do is, because we're talking about a lot of really heavy shit here, and I think it is important for this heavy shit to get out to people, but I also think it's important that we understand how it is that these problems can be solved in one way or another. So if we're using this technology to create bioweapons, then that also means we can use this technology, or just at its basic level, the understanding that was used to create these bioweapons, we can use that understanding to actually improve human health, or very well even reverse the negative effects of these bioweapons. Is that the case?
Yes, that's a lot of the reason that they would be arguing to do this type of research. They'll be saying, we're not trying to make the offensive agent, we're trying to find the countermeasure.
Right. So, but if that's the case, then why suppress the evidence that, because what, they believe it'll get them in trouble, they'll lose their license, they'll go to prison, they'll get charged with crimes against humanity, treason, things of that nature?
Right. So
hopefully all of the above. That's what we're aiming for. This... that was actually...
No, we can hear you, Charles. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So this is exactly the point that I was making in a document that I call my watchmaker hypothesis, which is that what they have argued is that this gain-of-function research is important because we need to be able to counter what other people are going to do. But my hypothesis that I've backed up with evidence, and I call it a hypothesis, but it's not a hypothesis. It's made up of conclusions that I'm going to testify under oath about. But what the argument is that we have all of this evidence that they already knew how to respond to a virus that contained these types of things. But what they did was the opposite of what the published scientific record shows they should have done, what their own previous statements say they should have done. Because, like with the furin cleavage site, they would always remove it. With these HIV inserts, they would always remove it. With the original SARS, there was many publications stating that hydroxychloroquine works for SARS-CoV-1. And yet, that research was suppressed despite that being part of the scientific record. So they can't say that they did not know. And so all we have to do is lay out the case that we have proven that they knew that these novel bits of this virus, they knew exactly what to do to treat it. And not only did they suppress that information, they suppressed the medications. They suppressed information that doctors needed. They suppressed the fact that this virus was even spreading via aerosol. So they went out of their way to intentionally do the opposite of what the science said that they should do.
Right. Now, that being said, Charles, this also may very well, once this information gets out, this actually could be an opportunity for at least portions, the good portions within the government, to step forward and say, okay, we admit that there are all these vaccine injured people. We admit that there's all this detrimental effects due to this bioweapon. And we actually have a solution using the research that was used to, generate this thing. We also have a solution that can actually reverse the negative effects of all of these things. Is that correct? Oh no, it looks like we lost him. Well, if you guys can hear me, go ahead and chime back in, or if you... Oh, there you go. Hey, there you are. Did you hear what I said? Charles, go ahead and unmute yourself. We heard you there for a second. Oh, he dropped down. Let's see if we can bring him back up. Oh, no. Well, what about you, Kevin?
His watchmaker is so good. I mean, he was working on that for a while. That's something that I've kind of kept up on, and it's going to be the last thing in the nest as well. If you guys want to get a hold of that, it's a great paper.
So all of the research that's been done on this stuff can actually be used to reverse the negative effects that these things have on the human biology. Is that the case? Did you hear what I said there, Charles? I guess we lost Kevin again. So all of the research that's been done, this is actually could very well be the redeeming moment that the government's been waiting for if they will just admit that they screwed up and send the right people to jail.
Correct. If, and that's the big if. And the problem is that...
Can you hear me?
Yes. We can hear you.
Fucking Abbott and Costello over here.
I got that.
Yeah, the problem is that thus far, we have seen virtually zero courage from anyone. In fact, Andrew Huff and Major Murphy, who I worked with to release the defuse proposal, are two of the only 4 whistleblowers that have come forward, 3 of whom were prior military. And when you talked about Li Mingyan earlier, the whistleblower from China, well, let me put it this way. There have been more whistleblowers from communist China about the origin of COVID than have come out of the National Institutes of Health, 18,000 scientists. And that is because there's 0 from NIH, and there was 1 from communist China. And that tells you everything you need to know about the quality of the leadership in the American sciences.
So
well, they're leading us over a cliff.
What do you think about Dr. Kadlik? He was he reported directly to the president, and he was Fauci's superior. He came out recently and said in an interview that he spoke with Fauci and that Fauci did not want to ruin his reputation, which when he said that, I found that very odd. Just your reputation is worth all of this. It doesn't make any sense.
I'll just say this. What we're dealing with, that's too little, too late. What you're watching is a process called cooling down the mark. They're letting these bits of information go so people can say, oh, yeah, we were right about Lovely. They lied to us. Right? They don't want you to go even further. They don't want you going into that biowarfare space to find out what they've been doing, which is play with these epitopes, which can precipitate these types of extreme disorders. And in their mind, I'll tell you how they think. Because the leader is so long, and what you have is essentially a constellation of very difficult in-down symptoms, like post-viral, long hauler conditions that you're seeing right now. And then that will get put down as, it's all in your head, it's functional neurological disorders, etc. And then the person just gets run and psychologically destroyed as they're bumped from medical professional to medical professional. And there isn't that understanding of what these disease processes do to people. And Kadlec coming out and saying, I'm here now, I'm going to say I was carrying water for Fauci, etc. Not good enough. That should have been instant. When, they'll make an argument, they don't know, but I would argue that they did. They knew exactly what was going on. It's written all over the virus and spike protein.
Well, here's the thing, and I like to talk about what we can do as individuals, because what we're laying on people is a lot of heavy stuff, and what would seemingly be the insurmountable task of holding the government accountable and forcing it to admit it was wrong, which, I mean, good luck doing that. Let alone the globalist infrastructure that all of the less than 1%ers use to maintain full spectrum dominance. This whole thing actually is lifting the veil on that whole global infrastructure and apparatus. So if the real battlefield is the mind, because that's the first place in the full spectrum dominance system that has to be won in order for the other aspects of full spectrum dominance to be gained and maintained. So I think it's really important that as individuals that understand the totality of the big picture, that certain you guys as individuals can not just continue to what you do what you do, but also tailor it in a way like you have with these diagrams and stuff that you've shown, the graphs that you've shown, the assets that you have, and be able to explain to people in a way that allows them to not just understand it, but understand it in a way that they can relate to others. And they too will understand. Then the domain of the mind can end up shifting. And yes, like what you're saying about them basically like just, using a pressure valve to, let people get their, let steam off so that there's not all this pressure on them to expose this apparatus that has been being weaponized against the population for decades. But also to create it in a way to where it kind of pigeonholes not just these bureaucratic agencies or international corporations, etc., but in particular Congress members that have the authority to hold hearings and stuff like that. I don't know, Charles, have you gone before the Congress and talked about this stuff?
No, I've not testified before Congress. I have worked up to this point with 3 of the various committees who were investigating different parts of the origin or the response to the pandemic, but they have no interest in actually having me testify. In fact, as time goes on and more evidence gets uncovered, they have less and less interest because it calls into question more and more what the United States was doing as opposed to what China was doing. They've been very receptive of my work as relates to showing that China lied about the outbreak, but they have zero interest in anything else that we're talking about here. Zero.
Now, do you think that's because... I'm sorry, Kevin, one second. Do you think...
I just want to add, this is a critical point, because what has happened with Charles, which is he's done probably more legwork with respect to bringing about at least public awareness, the amount I've learned from him because of his expertise. And he has been deliberately pushed off to sidelines. People take his work, run with it, and then they push him and shut down the space in which he can operate. They do not want to speak to people that actually have some sense of duty and pride in what they were doing. They're picking it up to, again, lick spittles that just are there trying to climb the greasy bowl. And it happened this week, or maybe last week now, which is that Sherry Markson, a spokesperson for the dissident side at Sky News, basically took the work from Major Murphy and Charles and basically had some nobody commenting on this on an international documentary on Sky News. And this is how much that I don't know how much is, well, it is deliberate, but these are the tools that they use to control this space, control people's minds with respect to the information that's available to people. And the answers are there if you want to go digging around through the literature. Well, usually what you hope is that there's an expert that can save you some time. And Charles has done that. And the fact that he isn't speaking in front of Congress, the fact that he's being sidelined and offering over the data freely is a testament to how bad of a situation we're in right now.
Right. So the full spectrum dominant system obviously incorporates social media and the Mockingbird media. Now, for those that are kind of in the audience and are new, because we've grown significantly in number since we began, basically what we've broken down here is that not only was COVID 1984 a lab leak, but it was a lab leak based on the crafting of a bioweapon that was declared illegal here in the United States, and people like Fauci and the NIH and certain aspects of the DoD funded this research in Wuhan because it wasn't legal to do in the United States. There are a number of different genomic sequences and genetic markers within this virus that actually prove and indicate gain of function of research was done, and this was a manufactured virus for the intent of using it as a bioweapon. We've also covered that within the quote-unquote COVID vaccine, which is an mRNA gene therapy, there are certain genetic code in the mRNA that actually normally were removed from all previous vaccines because they were actually antithetical to the building up of the immune system and fighting off certain pathogens that they were supposed to be immunized for. So the virus and the mRNA, the genetically modified mRNA, actually work together to start to target specific portions of the body, including the brain, the lungs, and the heart. And there's certain prion amino acid sequences within this virus as well that are actually entirely novel and could only be created through synthetic means that actually cause a cascade of negative effects in the brain in a way that is detrimental to cognitive function and may very well end up creating certain emotional or mental responses that are detrimental to human health and to human living experience. They have created a massive mockingbird media and social media campaign to prop up certain doctors and scientists that are pushing the zoology origin, the bat, cross-contamination narrative. And these people were given a platform, which, by the way, that is they're totally able to do that. There's certain cyber weapons that can be done that can not only limit people's reach online, but can also boost people's reach online and give them a much larger platform. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, the Mockingbird media, all these social media and Mockingbird media outlets were pushing this narrative. That way they could cover up the origins of COVID. And like, we were just saying here, like in particular, the United States hand in the production of this bioweapon. The fact is that there are certain genetic sequences that are actually being kept under the lid here in deep underground bases like Los Alamos and stuff for things like HIV and other infectious diseases, the same places where the nuclear bomb was tested. And these are like the bioweapons labs that are being done here in the United States. This is the lid. This is the thing they're really trying to keep the lid on, is all of this information regarding how the United States is involved in what happened all across the world and our involvement with communist China. And the narrative is being spun in this way through Mockingbird media and social media to ensure that this infrastructure of above top secret level security clearance and hundreds of billions of dollars of taxpayer money being invested into it ends up being concealed so that the public does not understand the nefarious activity that our tax dollars are funding. And this goes to speaking about the deep state, the medical apparatus, non-government organizations like EcoHealth Alliance and stuff like that, Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and the kind of research that's being done in these corporations or in these military facilities or in the DUMBs, basically. And all of this stuff is about controlling our minds. So they're trying to allow little bits of information out there so that they can kind of let people, let the steam off a little bit. They're trying to open up a pressure valve so that the pressure doesn't build in such a way that when all of this information comes out, that the public isn't so outraged that they start demanding things like Nuremberg 2.0, where all the people that were involved in this and the suppression of the information end up going before a group of individuals that have humanity's best interest at heart. And if we look at the less than 1%ers and their agenda regarding things like depopulation. We look at people like Bill Gates and how he's behind this, how he's behind the WHO and the CDC, and how these entities, these international entities, are going into the sovereign nations and basically taking over their laws, infiltrating their nations, taking over their countries, and changing their laws so that they can end up dictating how people respond to quote-unquote global pandemics, and therefore censoring people, getting rid of free speech, therefore limiting people's right to peacefully assemble. Both of those things are our First Amendment.
Quote-unquote global
also
pandemic
limiting
is
people's
insane.
reach online. The list goes on and on. Forcing vaccination, forcing this bioweapon into people's bodies, etc. If we look into the fact that people like the Rockefellers are eugenicists, they have admitted that they are eugenicists. Okay, that means filtering the gene pool. Then the genetic sequencing, both of the vaccine or the mRNA therapy and the COVID-1984 virus, the genetic sequencing of these things being detrimental to human health. If you look at this whole situation through the lens of these less than 1%ers having a depopulation agenda and a eugenicist agenda, then what is happening and taking place actually begins to make way more sense, because the government entities that are claiming that they want to use this research for human health and they're doing the exact opposite are actually like, this is indicative that these less than 1%ers have an agenda all their own, when all of this research that has been done can actually be used to reverse all the negative effects of the COVID-1984 virus and of the mRNA jabs. So that's kind of an encapsulation of what it is that we've talked about. If you guys want, Charles, Kevin, to elaborate further, if you have more you'd like to say, maybe about nanotechnology or Lieber over at Harvard and him working with
I could talk about him. But you know what? There's something. I sent Jenny in by DM a manuscript, a couple of manuscripts actually, and this just relays to your point about control of the mind. Well, what do you want to do if you're in? You want that full spectrum dominance, right? What would be your aim if you can't design the Übermensch soldier? What do you try and do? Well, you try and lower the operational capacities of what you think is the enemy or the population you need to control. And I've been talking about for many years now what happens with respect to brain cognitive processing once these disease inflammatory processes are initiated in the brain. And there's a preprint that's just come out, which it's an important paper because it's a longitudinal study that basically had a cohort of patients pre-pandemic and then tracked them across the pandemic. And these were individuals that had diagnosed COVID, mild to moderately severe. And what they showed using, people say, oh, it's if you look at the data, it's a few tens of milliseconds different in processing speed. But what those tests are specifically designed to do, they're very easy when you look at them. It's literally like sort of reaction time tests, but they're geared towards, they think, sort of testing functional domains across the cortex. That's how we view the brain in neuroscience. It's parceled up into domains which control executive function, language, emotional, sensory motor, etc. And what they showed was that there was a 10-year acceleration in age in this group that they'd been studying with respect to their ability to process cognitively. I think what that means, you've basically made it so that people are literally dumber, and dumber's probably not the right word, but they're less able to function optimally, so their brain is going to fatigue easier. They're not going to have the motivation to tackle big problems like this. And the issue that we have right now is that we're laying out a series of very it goes beyond that and says well, they've had long-term effects on you, not all organ systems, but I tend to focus on the brain. And this is how they think, and that they would be happy with a result of accelerating your aging, cognitive aging, 10 years.
Right. Well, and the thing is that if the domain of control in the battlefield is the mind first and foremost, then it would behoove them to ensure that people's brain computability is lowered and that their stamina to actually use their brain or even, walk around during the day be hindered and limited.
Kevin, exactly. If you look at how they wanted everyone to have it. That didn't sit well with me because I didn't understand if there was a population that wouldn't have needed it. They were continually pushing that every single individual must have this shot. Age, likelihood of that. So to me, it seemed like it didn't make sense. It was illogical. I've never taken a drug if I didn't have to have it. I'm a nurse. We train this way. So why everyone? It would fit with what you're saying.
Well, it's the same concept as when they mandated that the 100% of the military receive these experimental jabs, because you would never do that. Military readiness is a religion in the military. I know this. I used to work in operations in the Marine Corps, and I can tell you, readiness is everything. And so if you have something that degrades the readiness of our military to an intense degree, which for people who don't know, this was one of the reasons why we released the diffuse proposal, because we wanted to show that this research had been going on, and we wanted to prevent the military mandate from going into effect. But I digress. The fact that they wanted everybody to do it is once again a sign of nefarious intent, because how else can you look at the decisions that were made when ostensibly you didn't know what the risks were associated with the new technology? And so therefore, like when I look at it, to me, it's unconscionable. Because even if we didn't create the virus, the fact that we looked at the virus, the fact that Fauci looked at the virus, saw what it was, and then did everything that he did, even if he didn't create the virus, this is a quote that I've written down that I will literally testify to. Even if he didn't have nothing to do with the creation of the virus, the decisions that Fauci made to scientifically censor the fear and cleavage site and the other suspicious epitopes, many of which that we've talked about here today, those decisions made during the first week of February in 2020 have led to the deaths of more Americans and will continue to lead to the deaths of more Americans than any decision by any president in the history of the United States. What do I mean? I mean that Franklin Roosevelt's decisions to enter into World War II against Japan and Germany led to 405,399 dead Americans as a direct result. There is no doubt that Fauci's decisions to protect himself and to hide all this evidence of gain-of-function research has done more damage in the short term and in the long term via this, what we would consider long COVID, which really is autoimmune disorders and potential neurodegeneration caused by immune dysregulation, triggering all of these things. His decisions have already led to more American deaths, and that is assuming that there's no further damage starting right now to anyone.
That's intense. And
they just freestyling, bro.
At this point,
you hear the shit? They just freestyling.
Fauci is actually like the highest paid federal employee in the country. And for those that are skeptical about what it is
Dr.
that we're
Fauci
saying,
retired,
the level of corruption that we're speaking about, I think it's important that we remember basic logic and rational thinking. And if you look at it like this, if human beings are fallible and therefore corruptible, then human institutions are fallible and corruptible, and far more susceptible to corruption and fallacy the larger amount of the number there are human beings and money in the institution. So to me, it's like a no-brainer, considering that the federal government is actually the largest employer in the nation right now. So there's, do you see what I'm saying?
He skipped over a lot of steps to get there.
Yes. Amen. Well, keep going.
Okay, well, I also wanted to kind of help people put into context really quick the nature and the scale of what it is that we are dealing with here. Because if we look at the nature of what has happened over the last several years, ever since the release of the COVID-19 84 virus, what we're seeing is a whole new form of warfare. A lot of people are worried about, quote unquote, World War III and nuclear exchange, okay? But I want you to think about this really quick. There's a quote in the James Bond books: once is happenstance, twice is coincidence, thrice is enemy action. Now, I believe our homeland is under attack, and that this is war, because, first of all, psychological warfare is warfare. So we're in an information war based on psychological warfare, and, the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act, misinfo and disinfo, the suppression of true information, and the propping up of false information. We're in biological warfare due to the COVID-19 84 virus and the vaccine bioweapon and the weaponized mRNA and how it's affecting our cells and working together with the virus. We're also in a form of cyber warfare because of things like, for example, the Chinese spy balloon. And also there's a guy named Nate Kane who used to work with NSA and FBI, and he said that there was per day 25,000 cyber attacks on our infrastructure coming from the CCP in China. Also, we have the cyber attacks of, deplatforming certain people, marginalizing, shadow banning individuals such as yourself, Charles, or Kevin, or Andrew, or what have you. You also have the chemical aspect to this, the train derailments and the massive spills into our fresh water supplies. You have the chemical plants exploding. You have the fentanyl, going across the border. You have terrestrial warfare, terrorism, whether it be, Ukraine and Israel.
It's much safer for him to not do that receipt space with me.
Taking place on the border, more like the invasion that's taking place on the border. We have extraterrestrial and space and satellites and things like directed energy weapons, things like psychotronic weaponry or neuroelectromagnetic weapons being used on the populations. We have the seas, Nord Stream 2, and the attacks on our fresh water supply. We have the currency warfare where banks are failing, the central bank digital currency, inflation is through the roof. We got BRICS going on. You got legal warfare, the lawfare system, the corrupt courts, the weaponized DOJ. You've got our food supply, the baby formula shortage. Let's not forget about that. Let's not forget about genetically modified organisms. Let's not forget about the vaccine being injected into cattle and to all other livestock, the pesticides that are in the food. You've got the DUMBs, the deep underground military bases, all the classified tech that's in there, or things like HARP and the weaponizing of the weather. You got things like DARPA and the Defense Intelligence Agency all pouring money into bioweapons, chemical weapons, radiation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a World War III that is on another scale, and it's being fought on all fronts. It is a full spectrum dominance war. And it is my contention, and I'd like to get your opinion on this, Charles, seeing as how you're ex-military and you have such a long career in this, that what we're dealing with here is a defensive mechanism. The reason why they're censoring us, the reason why they're going all out in this way is because we as a population are starting to kind of come to an awareness about the corruption within the system and how bad things have really gotten. And they're trying to maintain their full spectrum dominant system through these defensive measures. Oh, you cut out there. I don't know if I'm the only one that can't hear you, but you cut out for a second there, Charles.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear him.
Okay.
But to your point that they have initiated war against the populace. Yes, this is it should be abundantly apparent to anyone that's even half awake right now. And perhaps people don't want to speak out because they're hoping that this will pass you by and you'll get through unscathed. With the trajectory that we seem to be on, there is all of this is a push towards instantiating new systems, control, and they will use any and all tools at their disposal to get their way. And what we can ascertain by them using something like biological warfare to get their way is that they are not abiding by established rules of war that were crafted out of centuries of bloodshed. They've ripped those up, they've ripped up the social contracts, they're wiping their arse with them and then handing them back to you.
Right.
And I don't know how many times you have to be spat at and slapped in the face to realise you've got to do something to remedy the situation. Now, what is that remedy? Well, look, you can try doing the mass gatherings around political establishments, etc., like you tried, but you'll see what they do. They'll just distort the facts. They'll engage in rampant human rights abuses, etc., and they don't care. They don't care. It's a means to an end, and they'll trample all over you. And maybe if you're lucky, they'll agree that they were it was a bit strong throwing you in prison gate. Here's a couple of grand. You go away and be quiet now. What people should be doing en masse is disengaging from this system as much as possible. Non-compliance, conscientious objection to the wars that they're trying to initiate and the war that they've started against you. Then organize locally. They hate that. They want hordes coming in on capital cities, etc., because then they can all geofence your phones.
For those of y'all that just came, this is Kevin W. McCarran, PhD, at Nest Commander, speaking right now.
Different tactics now, which is non-compliance, get your house in order, and probably with the trajectory that it is on, that they are going to implode multiple systems to get their way. And I don't know, just think how many in the US would take a digital ID, government ID, on the promise that, we're going to have it because it will fix elections and we can control the border. Think how many would jump on that train.
Right.
And you got to, of course, get your border fixed, of course. It doesn't require citizens to be complying to government and bureaucratic diktats to do that. So you could argue that faith is important in this, family is important. Those two things these people hate. They're going to extraordinary lengths to destroy family structures and the social fabric that was bequeathed to us by people that sacrificed a lot more than we did. We are soft, pudgy marshmallows in a bitching about a system that you can break it easily by the non-compliance and the conscientious objection.
Well, speak for yourself. I'm none of those things. But I appreciate where you're coming from, and I've actually spoken about nonviolent, non-cooperation, non-compliance. I coined the phrase or the quote, non-compliance suffocates the fire of tyranny. And that's essentially what we have to do, is get into a state of non-compliance. But the only way we can do that is if our minds and the domain of our minds is shifted. A new mental model is fathomed and grasped in its totality as to what the big picture is and our roles in it, how our compliance feeds this system, how it is that our tax dollars funds our own enslavement, and in this case even funds the bioweapons that have been used against us, how it is that our attention going to Mockingbird media outlets or social media is actually fueling the censorship apparatus, because our attention, if our attention wasn't on these tools or on these tools of subversion, then there would be no advertisers going to them. There would be no control over our minds. Now, Charles, I don't know if you heard my question for you before you got, technical difficulties there, but as a military man that has the study of the things that you do, what is your opinion on about what it is that we can do to expose and bring to light and bring some level of real justice to these systems that have been used to subvert, control, and in this case, have been weaponized against the populations?
Well, if you can hear me, the best thing we can do is one, first understand what it is that's taking place. And so there's a lot of people right now who detest the bioweapons label for whatever various reason that they do. They don't want to go near it because it's toxic. But it's the truth. And we have to understand that even if the SARS-CoV-2 virus was accidentally released, it is not natural, and it arose out of bioweapons research. And its purpose was as an incapacitating agent. When military has studied bioweapons, and they look at the most effective ones, you do not want a highly lethal, immediately lethal, obvious virus, because then it is blatantly obvious that it's a bioweapon. So you don't want to take Ebola and make it super transmissible, because then it's killing half the people, you lose the plausible deniability. Whereas what happened this time, when you dysregulate an immune system on a population scale, then people start getting ill with all sorts of things, be it RSV or Mycoplasma pneumoniae or whatever white lung flu crap we have. They can turn anything into a scare, and the fact that the numbers are going up for RSV, for instance, that doesn't mean that RSV is worse and that we need vaccines. It's evidence of this population scale immune dysregulation. So we have to be able to talk about the possibility of it being a bioweapon, because that it will explain what it is, why it was made, and more importantly, it'll point the direction in how we can treat it and how we can approach it moving forward. So educating the public about what it is incredibly important. And that's exactly why the scientific censorship that I was cataloging has now been applied to me and to other people, because they do not want the American people to be speaking according to the correct paradigm. They do not want us to understand the framework of what is really happening right now. Because even if they didn't make the virus, because the public was kept in the dark, they were able to manipulate it anyway. So education will help us, A, prevent them from manipulating it, and help us to understand what the threat is and how best to respond.
Okay, so as a military man, I'm curious, do you have any background or any understanding of like the basic elements of psi warfare?
I have a basic understanding. I can assure you that, like yourself, most of my education in that area has come just in the last few years, as my eyes were opened, because I understood what the military's counterintelligence techniques were, but it's entirely different to come to realize that they're being used against you yourself.
Well, what you said about the paradigm thing, it leads me to something I heard about psi warfare, and that is, number one, there is the collective objective universe. That's the universe as it exists for itself. And the people that have the largest scale beyond compartmentalization, they live in the collective objective universe. They understand things as they actually are. Then there is the part two, the collective, personal subjective universe. That is a universe that people live in where they perceive things through misinformation or through the lens of their five senses and the propaganda that they digest. And then there is number three, the collective subjective universes, where you have a bunch of personal subjective universes gathering together and agreeing on a very specific paradigm, agreeing on a very subjective view of the collective objective universe. And our collective mind has been fractured into these compartmentalized groups of warring tribes, each arguing over what piece of misinformation we're choosing to believe. So this idea of a new paradigm is basically what you're saying is we have to bring people into the collective objective universe. We have to look into the whistleblowers that have come forward, and we have to listen to these individuals, because each of these individuals is a part of a different compartmentalized portion of the government. And as we listen to these whistleblowers, especially the ones that are killed or marginalized, as we listen to them, we begin to get a glimpse into these intellectual silos of compartmentalized information. And then we can start to see the big picture from behind the scenes of these NDAs and security clearances, and the apparatus can start to become more visible. We can start to see the bigger picture beyond the compartmentalized collective subjective universes that each person chooses to live within. Now, being that these cyber tools, these cyber weapons can be used to either prop people up or keep people down, I would ask everybody in the audience that's listening, go into the nest, go into the purple pill, and share the ever-loving shit out of the stuff that is being brought forward, the stuff that Charles has brought us, the stuff that Andrew has brought us, the stuff that Kevin has brought us. Share these things and get them out, because the more people are brought into the collective objective universe, the more the paradigm changes and the faster that justice can be done.
Absolutely. And I know that Andrew would definitely agree with what you just said specifically, because that's absolutely true. And thank you once again for having this talk with us and helping us to bring this to a wider audience. We appreciate it.
Absolutely, and I would like to do something in the future if and when the ball gets moved down the field. Let's give you guys as big of a platform as possible so that this information can get to the public, because only the truth will set us free. You know, and it's like what Julian Assange said. He said, if wars can be started because of lies, then peace can be started because of truth. So we have to get the truth out there, and we have to do it in a way that is inarguable, in a way that the data speaks for itself. We need not argue with people that have been compartmentalized and brainwashed into believing falsehoods.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, real quick, I just want to say one of the reasons, tell me if I'm wrong here, is the reason people are having such a hard time grasping bioweapon or countermeasure is because they don't realize the magnitude at which disease is caused by toxic chemicals in general. I lived on a military base, and ALS was really common. And one of the neurotoxins that was prevalent, as well as in Guam, I saw the fact that toxins in the environment, based on the military dumping them into the water, was causing people to get cancer, a lot of people, as well as ALS, children's different diseases. You know, what we need to realize that for many, many, many years, a lot of the things that we thought were naturally occurring in our bodies, in my opinion, were actually caused by our exposure to something that damaged us. Now, that's why it was pretty easy for me to see that, because I took that route and I understood toxic chemicals, benzene and PFAS. I mean, I understood those things. Perhaps that's one of the things that people need to begin to realize. And what I'm afraid of, really quick, is that aerosolization of these, even the vaccine itself, and we could talk about this again because I think we really didn't even get to some of the areas where we could, such as manipulation of, like you guys said, a repressive state. But, there are certain things we have to do to protect ourselves. Because as we go down a bottleneck, when we are just at the edge of getting strong enough to defeat those that are controlling us, it's only going to get worse. So, protection, education, and then continuing to gather together and make sure that we are helping each other get educated as much as we need to be. And both you guys, Kevin, and Charles, I just can't tell you how much I appreciate. I know the hard work you guys are doing, and I know, you have families, and this is all done for, just goodwill. And I really, really, really do appreciate how much you've come. Charles, you've come on a lot. Like, we've actually been able to have you quite a bit. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for my children's children, my grandchildren. Like, it's very important to me what you're doing.
Charles. Just as the confluence were being laid on him. That's a shame.
Off the stage.
I brought him back up.
Cheeks blushing now.
No, like I said, we appreciate all the support, and that's very true. Unlike basically everyone else, we do this, and we don't do it to try to raise funds. We don't sell products. I'm living in an apartment now instead of a house because I had to give up that house because I refused to quit doing this and go back to work full time. So we're not beholden to some sort of interest or some sort of narrative. And I'm very proud of being able to work with Kevin, and especially with Joanna in Germany, she's been through a lot. Andrew's been through a lot. And once again, we're just like, the only time I was paid during the last 3 years was for 6 months when I was helping RFK Jr. prepare his book that literally just came out 2 days ago. So if you don't know about it, please go and get that and support the research that he's doing, because he's supporting researchers like me in what we're doing. I have great respect for Bobby, and I'm thankful that he asked me to work for him, and I greatly enjoy it. So
him just coming out to and sharing what had happened in the past between like poisoning, environments, whether it was at NIH or via sea or in the subway, him even saying that out loud to the public instead of it being some conspiracy that we've been having to deal with being poisoned. The earliest I could find was 500 AD or 500 BC actually was when the first I could trace it. But the fact that he came out and talked about that has been, I think, monumental for people to open their eyes at what we're dealing with.
Absolutely.
Good job helping him with his book, Charles. That's awesome.
So with all that said, I know there's a lot of hands and a lot of people that want to speak, but what we're going to do is we're going to close it out. And I'm sorry if that rubs people the wrong way, but I want to keep this space as short and as concise as we can so that the information can get out to as many people as humanly possible. We invite
It's easier for us to debunk this bullshit
into the space so that they could get their word out, so that they could get their testimony to the people, and that's the way that we're going to keep it. So Charles, Kevin, if you guys have anything I'd like to wrap up and say, now's the time.
Okay, I'll just say, Jake, pleasure to meet you, and thank you for hosting this space. I actually think it's been one of the more productive ones that probably the most productive one I've been on, actually. And just for people that are listening, I've actually been live streaming this on Rumble. I'll keep going on Rumble if you want to go over there, if you have questions. I watch the chat all the time, and you can if you go to McCannDojo.com, there's a link to Rumble there. Although that might be
of course they're on Rumble.
Just strange. Find me on Rumble. Type Jihad Science Show.
Take your time. Let's find it so we can put it up in the nest while people are still here. Is it on your? I was over there earlier. Yeah. It's a super cool website you have, by the way.
It's
hold on a second, Carl. It'll be done in a second.
I mean, that was an approach that I took in this fight because, it it is laughable what they've done to us, and I think when in such an asymmetric fight, you've got to be able to keep a sense of humour, and it may get a bit raw for some people, but it helps me do what I'm doing. How do I put this into the nest? You know what?
Do you have a tweet for you? Is that what you have?
I have a so I sent you a link, Jenny, in DM.
Jenny's really fast and proficient at that. I'm sure she'll put up a Twitter post and put it in the nest while Charles wraps up.
Yeah, so and all I really wanted to say is that there's so much more that we could talk to. We could have focused on specific issues, different things. Kevin and I are involved in more than just the the origin stuff. We're also involved with groups who are looking at therapeutics to try to solve these problems. So what I would say is I definitely, in the future, anytime you want, Jake, we can come back and talk more on specific issues, or if we wanted to, at some time, do like a public forum where people could just come in and it focuses more on questions, we can do that. But once again, it was a pleasure to finally kind of interact with you and meet you. Clearly, we're all on the same page on a lot of stuff, and it's great to be able to help each other out. And so if we can help you out, we'll try, and we appreciate your assistance in this today. So thank you once again.
And thank you.
That would be great, guys. Seriously, because this is something it's going to be bigger and bigger, and it's obviously a web we need to get out of. So I think that the mixture of you guys and how you did everything, and Jake, you're phenomenal. Kind of taking some things that were, you're dealing with like this is like the top of the web of gray matter, and you were able to translate it in a really amazing way, which I think is incredible.
Yeah, very. It's a skill to be able to paraphrase and keep the meaning in a way that people can understand. I'm too long-winded. I'm too academic. So when people can do that, I'm really impressed. You know what? As well as good humour, metaphysics is a good thing to focus on. And I stream a lot about metaphysics, Jake. If you ever fancy just doing a more sort of chilled stream, I'd be happy to discuss your metaphysics, and just let me know.
Yeah, it would be my pleasure. Metaphysics happens to be a speciality of mine. So, yeah, absolutely. And, it has been my pleasure and my honor to speak with you, gentlemen, and to share a stage with you. Keep up the good fight. Keep doing what you're doing. And that also goes for everybody in the audience that is vaccine injured, or that has a loved one who is, or has been deplatformed for bringing people the truth. I think that if you want to help, what can be done, obviously, is sharing this space, but also sharing the stuff that's in the nest. I know Jenny just put up the Rumble for Kevin in the nest. I also know that because there's so many people that are vaccine injured, and because these individuals in many cases chose to trust the government or the Mockingbird media and social media, and then got themselves this jab, and then lo and behold, they got injured, and then were marginalized, were deplatformed, were shadow banned, etc., just for speaking the truth. There's a lot of people that have ended up coming to the side of truth as opposed to the misinformation narrative pushed by the Mockingbird media and the deep state apparatus. So those individuals may very well be some of the greatest, shall we say, crusaders on this path of truth and getting it out to the people. Because if this information that was used, if this research that was used to create these bioweapons, to create the COVID mRNA gene therapy jab, if that information was used to create these things, then that also means it can be used on the other end to end up helping people heal from these things. And we can end up reversing all of the negative effects and using this technology for what it was meant to be used for, and that is human health. And keeping our immune system strong, etc. And there is a spiritual element to all of this. We didn't get a chance to get into nanotechnology or artificial intelligence and stuff like that, but that does play a role into this. I also did a space recently with Melissa McAtee where she talked about luciferase and graphene being in these jabs, where she talked about.
I can tell you there's not. I've done the experiments.
Well, she was a whistleblower for Pfizer, and she said
she saw it in some of the vials, but she didn't know if it actually got into it was production, so she couldn't confirm that it had gotten into the actual things themselves.
But the fact of the matter is, like, regardless of one narrative or the other, we know that the Mockingbird media and the deep state narrative is in fact false. And they are attempting in every way, shape, and form they can to suppress the truth from getting out to the people. And if they had nothing to hide, then they could be entirely transparent. And that's obviously not what's going on. So all we're asking for is transparency. All we're asking for is the truth. All we're asking for is for our tax dollars to be used in a way that is helpful to not just the American people, but to the people of the world, by getting this information out to the people and getting the truth and this information that can be used to help human health as opposed to be detrimental to it out to the people. So, in summation, every single person in this audience has a role to play. And if the battlefield really is the mind, and it is, then helping people to understand what has taken place in a way that not only you understand, but that you can relate it to them so that they will understand and pass on to others is essential. So digest the information, digest the assets and the diagrams and graphs and stuff that have been provided in this space, digest them, understand them, and then pass it on to others. Because only through unity, only through working together are we going to solve these problems. So, with all of that said, Charles or Kevin, do you have more to say?
No, amen.
Amen, yeah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. All right. Have a good night, y'all.
Thank you.
Sorry, punk.
What's up, Kyle?
What's up? I went in there after I saw you open this. I come here and then saw Dr. John, what he posted, had it attached. So I went in there. I had my hand raised, waiting to go up there and talk to him. I've been wanting to talk to that no good sucker. And he says, "Oh, well, we're not going to."
That's his new thing. So look, after that space we held, he's been holding spaces like this where he has one person that, like, you got to understand, the entire country wants to speak to this motherfucker, right? So he can now tailor these little conversations with one or two people. He had them two doctors there and that girl Jenny that tried to come in here the day after he was in here to clean up for him.
Yeah.
So that well, you was in there, you saw. But
yeah, I came in and talked to Jenny.
Yeah. But
I missed the space. I missed the space with Chansley came in here the night before.
You missed the Jake space?
Damn. Yeah, I've been more.
Have you heard the recording yet?
Well.
Yeah,
no,
it's nasty work, bro. He was getting sliced up from every direction.
Well, I knew he would, but I was going to slice him up from a direction. That's hard for other people to talk about, but I want to get him on his so-called spiritual side, because he talks a big game. He ain't got a clue what the book says. And anyway, I just had to come back in there and come up and say that about it. I had to sit in there and listen to that junk just sitting in there just so I could have my hand raised. Wasn't going to get any up. But anyway, thank you, brother, for having these spaces over here, listening like this. We can laugh, but I didn't want to laugh in there in his because I was trying to get up. I didn't want to make any emojis and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're just crazy. I mean, they just talk stuff like, my goodness. Oh, Oh man, I just pull stuff out of the air, make stuff up. It's crazy, and they believe
But
it.
at the end of it, did you see he said to the guy, to break it down in terms that everybody could understand, but you'll take 10 minutes looking up words in the dictionary per sentence with him.
Yeah.
You know? Hey, Miss BJ, how you doing?
Hi, I'm okay.
What's going on? Were you listening?
I just came in. I don't know.
Oh, you just came in. Were you sleeping? You sound like you were sleeping.
No, I just got something in the mail that's not good.
Oh, no. What's going on? Is that you? You know you can talk about it if you want to, but if not, we move on. Up to you.
I got my dad's ashes.
Oh. Yeah, it's. I guess this is one of the steps in beginning to get closure on the situation a little bit. You know, that was. I know you was waiting for them. Did y'all split them up between you and your siblings and stuff?
Yeah, my sister has half and I have half.
Okay. Overall, with the situation, how you dealing with it?
At this moment, not good.
Yeah, you miss them all?
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of music did he like?
My father loved all genres of music, from Frank Sinatra to the Jackson 5 and
You used to listen to
everything in
Frank?
between.
You used to listen to Frank?
Frank Sinatra, yeah.
I don't know. I can never get into Frank. That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
He ain't listen to no hip hop. Cut it out.
No. No. It wasn't out during that time when we
Yeah,
were
no doubt,
listening
no
to
doubt.
music, but
Where's your sister? Is she nearby?
no, she's in Jersey.
Oh, okay. Well, it's gonna be all right, Miss BJ. You know we here,
Thank you.
and this is, part of it. You know,
Thank you.
you gotta. This is the grieving process.
Mm-hmm.
You lost one family member, but look in the room at all the family members you gained recently, though. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I better fucking heart this screen up and stop playing with my body right now, boy. Y'all all better heart this fucking screen up right now for Miss BJ right now. Fuck y'all doing on this screen, B. Stop playing. Yeah. I haven't yet been through that level. The closest thing was when I was younger. Like, I never knew my father's father, but my father's mother passed away, and that's like the only thing, that was the only loss that I've had, and I was younger, so I don't even really remember what it felt like, to be honest. But yeah, I'm dreading any of them going right now. You know what I'm saying? Like my grandmother, well, my grandfather, actually, that was bad. I actually went to prison after my grandfather died. You know what I'm saying? But it's rough. You know what I mean? To deal with losing somebody that close to you that, you know, and it seemed like he was a good dude to you the whole time and everything. It's like, you know, I don't want to say the cliche, he's in a better place thing and all of that stuff, you know, that's just, I could just, you know, give you my shoulder.
Thank you, Polly.
Much love. I'm gonna reset the room a little bit here, y'all. This don't necessarily apply 100% across the board. And the lyrics of the songs don't always work out how I want to. But the sentiment is still there. You know what I'm saying? Give me 1 second, guys. This is DJ right here. Special dedication. You know what I'm saying? It's going down like this.
Thank you, Polly.
You already know, Miss BJ. You don't want me to do the whole story again, I know.
No.
I did a whole story one day with music fun and shit. It was pretty dope. But I hope you feel better, Miss BJ.
Mm-hmm.
We all here for you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. It ain't nothing. I do a lot of microphone invites out to people in the room. I don't understand why they were just blatantly ignored. As if I won't send everybody 1,700 mics until they take one.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Ollie? Yeah, Miss BJ, I am somebody of faith, and I'm sure, I don't want to say something, but he's in a lot better place, no pain and stuff. But I know the hurt we have here when we lose loved ones. And Miss BJ, I wish I could be there right now to hold you and hug you and whatever. I could be there, but you are loved, Miss BJ. I just wanted to say that, okay?
Thank you, Kyle.
Keep the spirit up. Keep your spirit up.
Thank you, Kyle.
Yeah, anybody can speak. Y'all can speak. It's cool.
Yeah, Miss BJ, my heart's broken for you, and I'm so sorry. Honestly, that's all I really want to say.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, I'm sorry for your trouble, BJ. That's terrible.
Why do I get the tears?
Miss BJ. Hi, Miss BJ.
What's wrong, Mama?
I got my father's ashes today.
Oh.
Yeah, you can speak, Victoria.
You remember what I said, Mama?
Oh, hold on. Okay.
You remember what I told you?
Yes.
Okay. You pick up that phone when you need to. We could pray, we could cry, we could laugh, we could do whatever you want. We could troll people in private. We could do all that. You hear me?
You could troll people in public. The fuck?
Miss BJ, are you open to a laughter?
This whole room will run niggas down right now. What's up?
Sorry.
I'm sorry, Chris. What did you say?
Are you open to a piece of laughter right now? I don't know.
Sure.
So Joel and I are about to go into space to troll full of right-wingers. Can you provide us 3 words he has to use in his troll? And it will be dedicated to you, by the way. Joel, are you ready to go in after Miss BJ picks the 3 words?
He got Tariq Nasheed last night.
Yeah.
Miss BJ, any 3 words?
Get these guys.
Okay, I'm thinking. Well, 1776 comes to mind. I can't think of anything else right now.
Oh,
that's cool.
What if I say something like, in 1776, we lost a lot of property?
And Betty Boop has to be in that, Joel. But figure out how to add Betty Boop to it, just because that's her image.
Oh, Betty Boop is a good one. I like that.
1776 and Betty Boop. You ready, Joel, to go troll the right-wing space for Miss BJ?
Sure.
So listen, Chrissy, what you got to do, your role in this, when y'all go in there, you got to stay in the gulag and screen record. If you take a mic, you're going to lose the audio. So you have to stay in the gulag and screen record from the gulag.
Oh, that's a good tip. Thank you.
Yeah, as soon as you take a mic, your audio on your recording is gone because the mic is dedicated to the space.
Okay. Got it. So, but Joel's doing the troll, and I'm going in to witness.
Yeah. You going to record.
I'm going to go there. I got to figure out how to do this on my iPhone. It's been a while since I've done it. And we're dedicating this to you, Miss BJ.
Pull down your control center. Pull down the control center from by the battery, and the little record thing should be in there.
Okay. Miss BJ, are you okay with us dedicating this to you to make you laugh?
Sure, it's just as long as you don't mention my name.
Oh, your name won't be mentioned whatsoever.
Okay.
This is a
Spin
dare.
the block back with that recording, B.
Yeah, so the dare is he has to use 3 words that we give him, but I'm giving you the words this time. Okay?
Miss BJ said.
So the Betty Boop, 1776, Joel. Betty Boop,
do that.
1776.
Hey, Chrissy, you could do that. Boop boopy doo. Her hook. Betty Boop.
You're gonna
the
love
Betty
this,
Boop,
Miss
boop, boopy
Phillips.
doop.
Joel Witten.
Yeah, there you go.
Joel Witten trolled Tariq
That's
last
how you
night.
gotta end it. Boop,
Hey,
boopy doop.
Miss Phyllis, you're gonna love this. Joel on a dare trolled Tariq Nasheed last night, and I gave him the 3 words to use, and he used them. They were tether. What was it? Bedwinch.
Bedwinch. And there was something
and
else.
not allowed to talk about race.
Oh yeah.
So we're about to go into a right-wing pro-Israel space. Joel, 1776, and Betty Boop. Got it?
All right.
From Miss BJ.
All right, not boop.
You gotta come back with that. You gotta bring that recording back, B.
All right.
No, we're gonna do a good job because this is Miss BJ. Okay, I know your name's not in it, Miss BJ.
Let's go to
Ready?
Victoria. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Hey, that's so funny. Polly, thanks for having the space. I saw that he was having one, and I was in a J6 space, and they were wondering where they all were, and they said that guy's having a space. And so I'm so happy you had this because then I didn't have to go in there. And also, BJ, I lost my dad a long time ago, and it's a big loss, and my heart goes out to you. And third, Polly, you know what's been in my head all week? Every time I'm like, friggin' Thomas the Train. Thank you for that. I'm all of a sudden like,
Joel, we're ready to roll and troll. Bye.
All right, salute. Hurry up. Joel left already. You're going to miss the recording. All right, she's good. Miss Phyllis, you wanted to say something?
No, that was it. Just her hook. Betty Boop's hook.
All right, heard you. What about you, Eugene?
Oh, dear BJ, my heart does go out to you. I'm gonna try to be as funny as possible and crack a smile out of you. Not right yet, because not enough material yet. But I did put a couple things up in the Jumbotron. I've been out trolling today, and some days it's like fishing. Some days you hook them, and some days it's just minnows biting. And today I got some whoppers. So that's been what I've.
I don't know what that was. I caught last night.
Thank you, Eugene.
You're welcome.
Did you catch?
I do love you. Yeah, I do. You.
Thank you.
A very
I love
precious
you too.
member of the community. What did you catch last night, Polly?
White supremacists.
Oh yeah. You do that a lot though.
Yeah. This is a lot of fun, to be honest with you. Like, I enjoy yelling at my phone, as a lot of y'all know, and they give you plenty of opportunities to do so. It's not just the wrongness, it's the lack of impulse control and the standing 10 toes down on your lack of facts. It's just insane to me. And I'm letting you run. What's up?
What's really fun is when you got a bunch of fact checkers around you.
Oh, of course.
You just be a smart ass while the fact checkers go off. That's fun. That is absolutely fun.
Listen, this happened last night. It was people in here that saw it, right? I said something. He said, put it in the nest. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? I provided like 50 receipts already, and you haven't provided one yet. I'm not putting no more receipts in the nest. Here comes Sweet Pea. It's in the bubble, you jackass. I was like, oh, shit, see? I didn't even know it was up there. Sweet B must have cursed that man out about 13 times last night. She was ending her flights with "fuck you." I was like, oh shit. That was a lot of fun though. But
I noticed they've been pretty thick on here lately.
Yeah. That's what it is. I mean, Jake doing spaces is going to bring a lot of them out, honestly. It's just what it is, you know?
Hey, did you see where Spoutable is coming out with their version of spaces next week called Pods?
It's not going to work, though. They don't, without the timeline, it's not going to, that's what Clubhouse problem is. They don't got a timeline. Without the timeline that go along with the space, it's not.
They do have a timeline.
Spoutable has a time. Is it the same as this, though?
Yeah.
Wait, why do I feel like that's a music app? That's not a music app, is it?
No. The Spoutable is Christopher Boozy, and he started.
I'm thinking about Spotify.
Yeah, he started an alternative to Twitter after I did. But I like his. It's really well done. But he's going to have the same version of this. So basically, what you get on Twitter, you can go get on Spoutable now. Except for all the bullshit. Yeah, I don't think you can say racist stuff over there on Spoutable. He doesn't like that.
Freedom of speech.
No, it's not. These are privately owned platforms. Triggered me there for a second. Yeah, tell me I can't control our platform and you can't be racist on it. Watch me come off.
Yeah, we were. I don't remember why we stopped yesterday, but we stopped because that space was way too long. But yeah, we were having fun with the Trump supporter interviews. They're very fucking funny. I'm not gonna lie. Logic not required at all.
I dipped out. That general was going on so long, I started falling asleep, and I'm like, man, if I start snoring on this thing, I'm going to live it down.
Nah, you'll be able to live it down. Nobody cares.
You know, I was.
You heard me snore.
No, he won't. No, he won't. Because no.
See, you do it in the middle of the day. That's the problem.
You know,
you'll pass out in the middle of the day and be you catching a grandpa nap on niggas and shit. So yeah, at least it's like the end, in the middle of a third. I mean,
you remember as a kid, you did not want to take a nap. You remember in the world, and now it sounds like the greatest.
I was.
That's Eugene.
That's a great.
Miss Phyllis, your phone. You got an iPhone?
Yeah, I do.
You got it on wide spectrum?
I'm not sure what that is.
Okay, so let's get into it, right?
Yeah,
I'm about to fix Miss Phyllis' mic, y'all. That's crazy, right? Bow. So you see the little battery indicator at the top, right? Miss Phyllis? Keep your mic open so we can communicate here.
Yeah.
Okay, so take your finger and pull down from that battery spot. And the control center opens up, right? You still there?
Yeah, I'm here. You know what happened? It took me back to the...
It took you back to where?
Let me see. You know, I have an 8. You know that, right? I have a...
It's an 8? Let me see. Hold up. I got an 8 here. Let me plug it in. Give me... Okay, we're going to remind me in like 5 minutes. Let me plug this 8 in and get some juice in there, and then I'll tell you how to do it on there.
Don't you do it through settings?
I think you got to pull it up from the bottom on the 8, but I just want to make sure before I start telling her. Like, do you know how you can pull a control center from the corner on ours? I think you pull it from the bottom up. Like the bottom of the screen, you got to swipe up.
Okay.
Did that work when you pull up from the bottom of the screen?
Yes, I got the airplane.
Okay, yes, perfect. So now, at the top right corner, does it say mic mode?
No, it does not.
Damn. It might not have that feature on the 8. I'll tell you in a second. Let me get some juice in this phone. Just give me a second here.
Yeah.
What's up, my puppy?
Yo, how's it going?
Chilling.
Just wanted to give my love and hugs to Miss BJ. I really can't even imagine how you feel. But if you need anybody to talk to, I'm here. So just wanted to show you some love.
Thank you, Mud Puppy.
You're welcome. Anytime for anybody. And then I have to do a space tonight. I'm kind of nervous, to be honest, because I'm doing it on...
What's the space about?
It's on Project 2025.
What?
Yeah, but...
What time?
5 my time, so in about an hour.
Oh.
And I was assigned the section on the DOJ, which I feel incredibly unqualified.
What side of Twitter are you on?
What do you mean?
Who's assigning space assignments?
Oh, I'm in...
I ain't get my homework.
I know, dude. I feel like I'm back in college. I'm in like a Blue Calvary or I don't know, some group. They wanted to make me a moderator, so I'm like, cool. But yeah, they like assigned us different sections, so I've been trying to...
No, it's like 900 pages or something, so I understand I'm assigning different sections. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but I just
feel
unqualified to be speaking about the Department of Justice because, you know.
But that's what the space is for, so you learn too. You know, just because you're the host don't mean you're sitting up there giving a class. You sat here and watched me not speak for hours sometimes, other than moderating, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. I don't know. I don't know if I have enough information. I don't want to sound like an idiot.
What section did they give you?
Just the Department of Justice.
So,
which I have taken some notes, but I don't know if it's like, you know, sufficient enough for a full-on conversation. That's kind of what I'm...
How many... Well, that's what I'm saying. You're not going to be, like, up there narrating or anything. Like, you're not just... and you can also actually just read shit, too.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I want to do that, but I also want to, like, dumb it down a little bit, I guess. Like, put it in my own words.
So, look, pick out parts that you... pick out parts that you know you can explain in layman's terms and relate to your argument, and read the part and then break it down. And you got a couple of those. That's big chunks of conversation right there, because everybody's going to want to talk about the things that you just brought up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You more worried than you need to be.
I know.
You want us to come in there? You want all us to come in there? All right, everybody, we're going to my puppy space in an hour.
I mean, if you want.
That's it. We going there, and we going to make sure this conversation go how she needed to. As a matter of fact, since this is homework, we going to cheat. Let's go through these points now, my puppy. What you got?
Okay, cool. Okay, well, I've just taken some like hand notes. So basically,
they gonna be like, "Wow, how did she accomplish this fire?" Your space is gonna be more fire than everybody's space. I'm telling you right now. Let's go. Everybody could come up here. We all gonna participate in this situation. We gonna have mad mic requests. They gonna be like, "Wow." Look, some of y'all, when we got the stage full, right? Start requesting mics. So her two co-hosts could see it's like a big ass queue and shit, right? And then when they give you the mic, just drop back down. You just want the queue to be full the whole time. Just keep the queue full and shit. If y'all need to DM it, just DM me and be like, "Yo, is the queue full?" But like, nah, request. So DM Mud Puppy. I'm acting like I'm be hosting. DM Mud Puppy and fucking you know, keep that queue full so our homies can see that she got a bunch of people like trying to talk about this shit. You know what I'm saying? But everybody can't drop down. But let's go through the points. Let's see what you got.
Okay. So first point is that they want to do a top to bottom overhaul of the DOJ, meaning curbing its independence and ending FBI's efforts to combat the spread of misinformation and disinformation.
Why would they want to do
Yeah,
that?
I know, right? And I believe, where's the case? I just had it. I wrote it. I wrote down. Oh yeah.
I need my political analyst heads right now to come up here and use their political brains and tell us why. What would be the benefits of them doing that? On explain what the benefits would be. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, continue.
Yeah, I mean, to me, there are no benefits.
I mean, no. Well, you know what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah.
From their perspective, like, what are they trying to imply that the benefits of that would be? Is what I'm trying to say.
It's because their party is the one that spreads the most misinformation and disinformation, and they didn't like the fact
they would exactly.
Yeah, they wouldn't. Mm-hmm. They hated the fact that everybody who was mostly Republican was getting called out for COVID-19 stuff during 2020. So, and there's also they want to have the Supreme Court overrule Humphrey's executor versus the United States, which approved that directors of independent agencies were not removable by the president at will. And they claim that this case is a violation of the Constitution.
Sweet. Everybody can chime in. We trying to help her out before she do the space so she can build up her speaking, talking points and bullet points for the space she about to do. What's up, Sweet Pea?
Steve Miller is his Department of Justice candidate.
Ooh, thank you.
Okay, that ought to
the wheels are turning.
That ought to give you quite a bit of information and scare the absolute shit out of everybody.
There you go. Thank you, Sweet Pea. He's an asshole.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, Sweet Pea. Good rundown last night.
Fuck, I'm just waking up.
Sweet Pea getting them rundown numbers up, bro. Every time she ended, she said, "You fucking jackass" or "motherfucker."
Polly,
fuck you.
Polly, I gotta say this, and please
She cursed me out last night. She told me last night, "Shut the fuck up, Polly." I was like, "Oh shit." I got the recording and everything. She can't even deny it, bro. She can't even deny it. She didn't even realize she was being set up. It was late. I got it. I was like, "Sweet Pea, tell me shut the fuck up right now." She was like, "No, I'm not gonna do that, Polly." I was like, "No, I'm trying to lead by example." She was like, "All right, Polly, shut the fuck up." But I don't mean it. But it was too late. I already got that. That's how these sound bites work. You know what I'm saying?
So Stephen Miller has been proposed for the role of Attorney General. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, let me.
I can look it up.
No, give me just a second now. I've not even had a cup of coffee yet, but it's in my timeline. The people that he's proposing for his cabinet. But I'm pretty sure. Now that I think about it, Steve Miller might be Homeland Security, but I want to think DOJ. Let me find it and I'll put it up in the Jumbotron.
Isn't Cash Patel going to be something? Is he the one that was going to be AG?
Hey, Kyle. Cash Patel's going to be head of the CIA.
Oh, God.
All right. Thank you.
And then Melania Trump wants fucking Tucker Carlson for some shit. Forgot what it was.
I think it was vice president, wasn't it?
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. Oh, my God. That would be fucking...
Yeah, let me find that graphic.
That would be a fucking
somebody
nightmare.
Had it in some space earlier this month. Yeah, exactly.
All right, so Ingrid, what you got?
I was wanted to ask, first, BJ, sorry, condolences to your loss of your dad. I lost my dad a year ago, the 22nd of December, so I know what you're going through, and I'm so sorry for that. So I wanted to say that. But always keep those memories alive. It will bring smiles to your faces for sure.
Thank you, Ingrid.
You're welcome. And Mud Puppy, that Humphrey thing, did that have anything to do with those jobs that Trump had left in the DOJ that, Conway? Conway had a spot, like a job that Trump had gifted her that he thought was going to stay in the DOJ after he left. Did that have anything to do with that? I was just thinking about that when you said that job, being able to not having the president getting rid of the job, because Biden did get rid of those jobs, and I wondered if that's the same jobs that Conway had. There was somebody else, but I can't remember who else he appointed to a position that he thought it was ironclad after he left office. Do you know?
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize I was muted. I think that they were appointed to different boards within the government, but I don't think they were necessarily employed by the government, so there might be a difference there. I'm not sure. I'm definitely not a lawyer. So, yeah, I know that Cleta Mitchell, the, Trump's attorney that was with him in Georgia, who was, trying to get Georgia to overturn the results, she is on some election integrity board or something within the government, within the Federal Elections Commission. So don't know why she's still there, because she is a fucking fascist. But hold on one second.
Hey everybody! So Joel did the troll, and it was awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking at it on the timeline right now.
And he somehow, Miss BJ, it was 100% dedicated to you. Just wanted to say.
Hold up, let them finish their point, and then I'm gonna play it. Go ahead, finish saying what you were saying.
Oh, me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just go through some of the other points that I have real quick. So, require Congress to start with 25% cut in FBI funding to eliminate the Bureau's intelligence. They claim that the FBI has been transformed from a law enforcement agency to a domestic intelligence agency because they don't like the fact that, their people are getting targeted because they're domestic terrorists. Let's see. The White House would gain control of the Solicitor General and bring the Justice Department attorneys into line with the president's wishes, as well as allow them to raise legitimate questions about election fraud without fear of retribution. Fill the DOJ and FBI with Trump supporters and loyalists. And then they also make a claim that DEI programs are vehicles of unlawful discrimination. So when they say discrimination throughout this document, they're talking about white people, which is fucking hilarious. It says the Civil Rights Division should use full force of federal prosecutorial resources to investigate and prosecute all state, local governments, institutions of higher education, corporations, and any other private employers who are engaged in discrimination in violation of constitutional and legal requirements. Oh, shoot, there was one other thing, too. They want to prosecute providers. It was developers and providers who send mifepristone, or the quote-unquote abortion pill, through the mail. So they want those people prosecuted. And that's all I have so far. It's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, in the conversation of us trying to figure out what you're going to talk about, I guess we shouldn't focus on the things you already got, because you got those already. So we gotta what else is in that part of the I guess project or whatever you want to plan?
Yeah, I mean it's like a 900-page document.
Wait, let me pull it. Is it the way I can pull up what you're seeing?
Yeah.
Like the yeah. Send that.
Let's see.
You want to DM it to me or something?
Yeah.
And I'll just so I can look at it. So maybe I can help you out that way. Maybe post it or something so we could all get busy right now.
Okay. It starts on page 545, but let me
Don't tell her friend she cheated, y'all.
Dude, I feel like I'm like back in college, just like nervous about fucking presenting something, and I shouldn't be. And apologies, I did not mean to derail the space.
No. This is fun.
Was my anxiety.
I'm having fun. I don't know about the rest of them, but
No, that's not cheating. That's preparation.
Ooh.
Exactly. Preparation. There you go. Preparation.
Ooh. Heard you. Now, you know what? That's true. Because had I not prepared before I went into that space with Lev Pornis that night, it wouldn't have went as well as it did. You know what I'm saying?
Did you talk to Lev?
Oh, yeah. I embarrassed him in front of what was it, 500 people in there?
Was that recent?
He's friends with Pam, right?
I don't know what's up with them, but it's on that video with Choose Violence Runs Down Harlem. The clip of me getting on their stage is in that video because it was part of that. And I actually remember to take 2 accounts in there and hit record on one before I got on stage this time. You know? Because I be going to, every time, I remember with that dude, Tommy Sotomayor, he was on Black Stage one day, and he was just on the stage. I was like, oh, demon time. And I just immediately went into space and got on stage and started screaming. And realized after the fact, I should have took my other phone in there first, yo. And because nobody got that recording, nobody sent it to me. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. But, yeah, no, that time I remember to do it. Oh, sorry. What are y'all talking about now? Where we at?
I have no idea. Oh, I think I...
Oh, you were putting that... So, you were giving us access to... No, hold on. She was giving us access to the paper she's looking at. That's what she was doing.
Oh, yeah. I DM'd it to you. Sorry, I was on my computer.
Okay, no problem. Which one?
I think it's Homie Loot. Yeah, Homie Loot.
Okay, no problem. I got it. Sweet Pea, and then I'm going to play this video after I put this in the Jumbotron, which I'm about to do.
Okay, thank you, Lady Espresso, for finding that thing that I was referring to. It's up in the Jumbotron, so shout out to her. And BJ, sorry to hear about your dad. Hugs and prayers to you, honey.
Thanks, CP.
Okay, so now the thing that she's building a space off should now be in the Jumbotron, THF_media. So that's the thing. Is it a specific? I haven't clicked the link because I don't want it to take me off the app. But can you direct them where they got to go once they get in there?
Oh yeah, it's the Department of Justice, which is what I'm covering, is on page. It starts on page 545.
545. What is it? PDF?
Yeah, it's a PDF.
Okay, so Control F for those of y'all that don't know really how to do it, and that'll bring up the Finder, and you can probably just type in the page number 545, and it'll take you right to it. If I'm not mistaken, from what I remember using them things. Might be a little bit more snazzy now, but we're going to now go into. Let's go to the videotape. Let's see what happened with Joe within this space a second ago. All right, now here we go. Bow.
that you have no idea. Seem like you're that ill-informed that you have no idea. I'm not that ill-informed. Okay, I'm quite aware of what's going on. So when you compare it to 1776, it sort of tells me, and then you come and you say October 7th was, okay, well, it was inappropriate. That's not the word I would use. So it kind of tells me, is this person coming in good faith? It's an atrocity if you like. It's an atrocity. It's not what I like. It's what it is. Yeah, I know, but you can call it an atrocity. Yeah, I'm bored with that guy. How about a massacre?
An Irish Canadian. I didn't have Irish Canadian on my bingo card today. That was interesting.
Yeah, the issue goes like this. If they don't want to call them, seem like you're that.
What happened to the beginning, B? I told you. Didn't I tell y'all when she was over here? Yo, nah. Before she left, I was like, why are you still here? You still announcing you're leaving, and he over there already, and then you come back with a recording without the beginning on it.
I'm sorry. I absolutely recorded it, by the way. I don't know what happened because I made sure. 1 second.
It's all good. The first thing that I said was, I've been reading this article by a journalist called Betty Boop or something like that. And what she said was that October the 7th was October the 7th was the 1776 of the Palestinian people, right?
Yo.
Oh man, that was great.
Good job. Good. That's fire.
Thank you. You guys are silly.
Honestly, DJ Hurricane makes me so worth it. And then they started arguing with him about 1776.
Like, what? That's fire. Because, like, he's standing 10 toes down on the shit that we sat here and made up by picking random ass words.
Like, what? Again, Joel, but I'll be better about recording.
Nah, it's all good.
No, next time.
Next time, we got to send you over there to start recording before he even comes over there. You know what I mean?
No, I had it going. I don't know what happened. Anyway, I don't know what happened. I'm not used to recording.
And then also, end the recording before you start the DM.
Ms. BJ, hearing you laugh has been 1,000% worth it. That's why. I'm sorry. Honestly, it was just so worth it to hear you giggle, and we started a fight over 1776. By the way, when I left her, they were still arguing over it.
Was this in Mario's space?
Oh, now that's a fun idea. No, this was in Liberty Sean's space. Liberty Sean.
Yeah, they're full of right-wing crazy Zionists over there. That's why I did this to him.
But Mario's space would be next level. We could do that.
Shit.
Or Sir Major space, y'all.
Yeah, I've got the taste for blood now, so yeah. Anything you want to send me, I'll do.
You're gonna have to stop doing it on your account, though. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That is true.
I'm picking up extra followers out of it, Holly.
No, yeah, but it's gonna be a negative impact to you doing that shit on your main account. I'm telling you now.
All right. Well, maybe I'll go take
it from somebody who lost their account already.
Fair enough.
They did not care about my blue check, none of that. Actually, they tried to keep charging me after they suspended my shit.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So...
Yeah, Joe, we need to get you a
play with Elon if you want to. You be calling your fucking bank talking about cancel these payments.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Well, maybe I'll switch to Rolf Bacchus.
Oh.
Do you recommend him putting FBA in his title or
Definitely
name or something?
Definitely not.
Okay.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Just asking. But that was
funny,
Joel.
If I do that.
That was so funny.
I've called him a young Turk. He's got a picture of a Turkish soldier flaying someone alive, which is just lovely. Yeah.
Holly, you got to pick the next 3 words.
All right, when y'all ready, when y'all find the spot y'all going to, come back.
Oh, are you guys like using trigger terms just to like piss them off?
No,
we should.
We should, but we tell him.
He's gonna lose his mic immediately if y'all do that. He's gonna lose his mic immediately if y'all do that. You gotta ease into the troll. You can't go in there. That's like when they come in here and try to say the hard ER mad times. Like you giving your troll away too fast. Like Christina, you know better. You went in there you came off the mic full blown crying. Stop playing.
I remember doing that. No, so Mud Puppy, how it works is Joel gets 3 random words, and he has to use them in the troll somehow in one sentence, and it's random words. So BJ gave him the word 1776 and Betty Boop, and he had to use it.
You know she was sitting right there this whole time, right?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay.
I know. It was just, and we were mostly doing it just, and we go into right wing spaces or spaces full of nutsos, like nutsos, like that space with lots of people in there. So yesterday, he went into Tariq Nasheed's space and he had to use the word tether and bed winch, and he can't talk about race in his troll. And Tariq was like, "What the hell are you doing up here?" Sorry to be the laugh.
What did you say? Something was tethered to something?
No. So my phone was struggling to be tethered to my connection, right? And so I had some in and out connection problems. But then I was distracted by my bed winch.
Oh man.
As you are, I mean, it's fair enough, right?
And he could not talk about race, and he just started talking about how beautiful the different countries are. And she was trying to get him to talk about like Europe and Africa relations, and he wasn't buying it. I told him he's not allowed to talk about race.
I like this. I like this a lot. You're going into right wing like nutso spaces, right?
Nutso or right wing.
I actually am going to go in on my main for a bit because I'm not actually saying anything that can get me reported. So
no, it's not about getting reported. You hold spaces sometimes. You trust me. You want to do this on another account. You don't want to be having a serious ass conversation, and that's the moment when 50 trolls catch you out there. Like, oh, there he go. You know what I'm saying?
You use a fake account.
I'll use the fake account then. But I don't get as much traction with the fake account because it doesn't have like the blue check and everything. They let me up because of the blue check.
How bad do you want to troll?
I told you.
What are you willing to give up to troll, Joel?
But Mud Puppy.
Maybe I need to build up a credible right wing account.
There you go. All it takes is time and like random ass interaction, and you could literally just once you start going in right wing spaces, they're gonna see you. You start liking shit, then you'll get followed. You just follow a couple of people. It's gonna your follow ratio to your following to follow is gonna be off. You're gonna be following more people than is following you back. But once you get that shit to 100 and something, you just unfollow everybody that's not following you. Now your account looks reasonable, at least.
Okay.
You can get busy.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
Rolf Backus will make his entry into the right-wing world.
Word up.
Mud Puppy, if you find any pro-Russia spaces, let us know, because that would be like the best ultimate troll.
I'll send them your way.
A very easy way to do it is to make that account and then just request the mic whenever you can, and then go in there and act like you are taking their stance, and then you'll get followers. And then you'll also weave your way into their little circle of friends and all of that stuff. Like, Helena be giving people her phone number as soon as they say they're gonna donate money.
Well, that's who we have to troll next, Joel. I was able to get in there with only 3 people following me. That's next, the General J6-a-thon. And we'll find the group. The group here decides on the words.
All right. Well, maybe I'll hang on. I can't get caught in here with my alt though if I'm going to make it into a right wing.
Why not?
Why not?
Right wingers, there's not that many right wingers coming in here. This is what you do. You come in here and like everybody, this is Joe, follow me.
Oh,
so you got some followers, and now you got 30, 40 followers. That's a start.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then you go to
Eugene
Space with the burner. Yo, everybody follow me. So you know what I'm saying? And now we got a little account going on. Now you got more people and don't follow nobody back from the burner.
Yeah.
So now your ratio is higher of followers to people that you're following. You feel me?
And then I post some right wing guff.
Of course. Come on. How could you not?
No, but you got to retweet it from your target. Retweet it from Helena. Let's retweet it from.
No, yes, exactly. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. But you have to have original media, because when I go to that media tab and I see it's nothing there, I know it's cap. Because they not really posting that. They just trying to. I know they trying to make their account look like it's something when it ain't. You ain't really making no effort to post shit. So you got to post some kind of media. We got some gifts though. We got some gifts.
Yeah, but here's the deal, everybody. For the next week, you're going to do this, Joel, Thursday. Everybody in this group is going to decide on the 3 words, okay?
All right, the conversation's getting away from us a little bit, though. Is anybody looking at the paperwork to help Mud Puppy out for this situation? Anybody?
It's okay. I'm not even looking at it at the moment.
Good job. Teamwork makes the dream work.
I keep coming back laughing. I ain't even got to the page yet. What page was it? 500 and what?
45.
Okay.
Hey, by the way, Mud Puppy, do they ever run Project 2025 spaces that we can send Joel in? I'm dead serious on this. We got to make them look like idiots. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't see a lot of.
No, we don't see that.
Yeah, because that's like in their favor. So, like, I feel like why would they want to hold a space on something that favors them, you know?
Like, yeah, they not like we usually hold spaces on things that are a problem for us. Like, I don't know, like to talk about how to solve that issue or so forth. Like, that's this side. I don't know what they do over there, but no, they got echo chambers. They're probably talking about it in a positive light somewhere. She's right. We just, maybe none of us are following those people, but yeah, that's got to be a thing.
Do y'all go to the spaces dashboard to see all the different spaces being run?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's how I do my scraping, by the way, everybody. That's how I find all those crazy accounts on Dr. Coates. Lurking.
You know you talk too much, right, Chrissy?
I talk way too much, I know that.
Who is this?
I've been told that before.
Rolf Batches. This is interesting. So they got no posts.
That's probably Joel.
They got some replies.
That is.
This is old though. No, this ain't Joel. And well, like I said, no media. That's the giveaway, man. When y'all don't got no media, that's where you fall. You hear us having a conversation about it, and then you try it without no media. That's crazy, bro. Come on,
Wait,
man.
so that's not Joel? I thought that he said Rolf something earlier.
It is.
Is it? Because it says... Oh, you're following him. Did you just follow him right now? Yes, because I see he went from 5 to 6. Earlier. Yeah, okay. Maybe it is Joel. Because I seen old stuff.
Polly.
Hey, I seen old stuff. It said 10 something. He must have already had this account.
You literally got duped by the shit that you told him to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best part.
That was too much fun. I loved how you were flagging my account, Polly.
Yeah, man. Because how you got old shit on the account you just made?
Yeah, this is just like a super new one. No. I made it. I'm sorry. I did make it before.
Thank you.
With another name.
So everybody don't think I'm fucking crazy in here, please. Thank you.
Yes. No, I did make it before, but it had a different name and a different face.
That's not going to help, Polly.
Jesus Christ.
But you know, maybe
that's
we
messed
can.
Up. Y'all think I'm crazy? Go ahead, Joel. I'm sorry.
We can get something going on.
Yeah, everybody follow him. That was the point. Everybody hit that follow. So we can get some followers up on this account. So it makes sense for them to let him up.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start posting some, well, hang on. Who should I follow here?
And DM that, after you follow him, DM that account, some right-wing shit so he could post them.
Yeah. Just DM me all your worst stuff.
Q-anon shit, whatever.
I don't even
just go to the Shaman's page. I'm sure there's good content.
Oh no, that's what they were saying. Retweet a bunch of stuff from Helena the General, the Shaman. Who else is crazy? Oh, Pam. Go for it. Just go for the fucking gusto. Why not?
Oh yeah.
Speaking of Pam, I need to find out what her TikTok account is, because I need, now that she's ran away from this X platform and pissed everybody off.
Has she though?
Pretty much, yeah.
I don't think so. Serious. She's still holding spaces, bro. You just be asleep.
Is she really?
You just be asleep. Hell yeah.
No, I'm not asleep. She blocked me.
No, I'm saying the time she holds her spaces, you're definitely asleep. She holds her spaces in the middle of the night.
Oh, she'd tweak her, huh?
Yeah. Somebody else was saying something too. Who else was just talking a second ago? Right on, everyone.
This is why I'm here.
These moments.
These moments.
Yep.
These magic moments.
So, yeah, actually, you know what? I know what I can do to help a little bit, at least here, Bow. So we going, because I know there's people in here like, what the fuck is Project 2025? What are they even talking about? So we going, I'm gonna let y'all hear a story. Don't knock the water over. That would suck. I'm gonna let y'all hear a story that's somewhat of a description of what the overall Project 2025 is. Hold on, that's the wrong website.
Ooh, that's a good idea. I should find some videos to play.
Mm-hmm. I'll send you this one so you can. What you say?
I said that's what you do.
Yeah.
Finding video.
Mm-hmm. So
you found my secret stuff, but you're pretty good.
As I've mentioned multiple times now, I was at the Miami Federal Court.
That's funny too, but that's not what we're watching right now. How long is this? Pause. It's a little bit too. I want a short explanation. This one is good. Okay.
Crackpots, insurrectionists, and weekend terrorists are laying the groundwork to turn our government into a Trumpist nightmare if the former president somehow manages to get back into the White House in 2024. The AP reports on the plan laid out by a Project 2025, a government in waiting for Trump's return. Quote, the idea is to have the civic infrastructure in place on day one to commandeer, reshape, and do away with what Republicans deride as the deep state, firing as many as 50,000 federal workers. The goal is to oust employees they believe are standing in the way of the president's agenda and replacing them with like-minded individuals. That should sound familiar since it's directly linked to Donald Trump's authoritarian plans overall. The New York Times reported in July that Trump and his associates have a broader goal: to alter the balance of power by increasing the president's authority over every part of the federal government that now operates by either law or tradition, with any measure of independence from political interference by the White House. Numerous former Trump officials are involved with Project 2025, and look, it's not some shadowy behind-the-scenes effort. It's been open about its plans to gut worker protections and dismantle environmental protections. It includes their plans to make pushing right-wing Christianity the federal government's job. It's all in there in the nearly 1,000-page playbook calling on the next president to maintain a, quote, biblically based social science reinforced definition of marriage and family. Guthrie Graves Fitzsimmons writes for MSNBC, concerns about policies of this kind aren't only about the possible return of Donald Trump to office. This is about the next Republican president, whoever it may be, is going to be pushing Christian nationalism. Joining me now is David Korn, Washington bureau chief for Mother Jones, MSNBC political analyst, and author of American Psychosis, which comes out on paperback next week. David, I always say that the most dangerous people when it comes to protecting our government, it ain't the guys in shaman costumes, right? It's not the weekend warriors with Punisher signs on their flak jackets that they got at REI. Okay, it's men and women in suits who write policy, who slowly but surely undermine our government. Put this Project 2025 in the frame. How dangerous is this?
Well, let me expand from that a little bit, because a lot of people watch, a lot of people concerned about authoritarianism in America focus on Donald Trump.
Right.
And I think rightfully so. He incited violence. He says we should suspend the Constitution. And as we just saw, he has his own campaign plan to impose an autocratic government should he got back into the White House. But what we see with Project 2025 is a project funded at $22 million that has dozens of right-wing, far-right groups that have been in town and that are considered established right-wing organizations like the Heritage Foundation. They've been doing something like this since 1980. Their first mandate for leadership was for the Reagan folks when they were coming in. And so now they have joined forces with Trump to sort of say, this is how you can do it. We know that Trump isn't capable himself. Right. He doesn't have the discipline, the understanding of how government works. So here we have, dozens of groups, hundreds of people, millions of dollars to put together a schematic plan for Trump to come in. And at the heart of it is getting rid of 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 or more federal workers. These are the people who, like, if the president comes in and says, I want to drill on the mall, they say, they're a career civil servant. They go, that's not what the law says, Mr. President. This is why you can't do this. The sign says that. Well, now under this plan, Trump would say, you're out of here.
Right.
There's a loyalty oath. There's an oath to my policies if you don't do what I want you to say. And so the whole idea of an independent, expertise-driven civil service government workforce
would be gone.
Would be gone.
Yeah. I want to play you some sound, because this is really important. This is Paul Dance. He's director of the 2025 Presidential Transition Project on firing federal employees, because I think this is key.
Yeah.
Ultimately, what we want to do is make sure that the federal bureaucracy is being directed by the people through the president and his team.
Here's the thing. We already have the Republican organization. I keep saying they are not a party. They are a terrorist front. They're basically a cover for the MAGA terrorist movement. And remember, they didn't even have a platform in 2020. They just wanted a loyalty pledge.
Right.
Essentially, what this guy is saying is, we're going to put nice words about it, but we want every federal employee to have a loyalty pledge, not to the government, I mean, not to the government in general, not to American citizens, but only to Donald Trump. How dangerous is that, and how close would that take us to just absolute authoritarianism?
Well, I think it's highly dangerous because there are a lot of issues out there, whether it's, public health, right? Even foreign policy, where there are things that are not, up to now, have not been considered partisan. There are policies, there are ways to do things. If you want to build an airport, there are regulations. The EPA has people who specialize. Now Donald Trump could come in and say, well, you know what? I want that airport near my country club. I don't care what EPA regulations it violates. If you say it's wrong, you're fired. And so the chilling effect this is going to have, and anybody, out there who might watch MSNBC at home, they come in and they, well, you're watching MSNBC, you're out of here.
Right.
And so it really gives them this total control. And it's part of this whole move on the right to come up with a unitary executive. For decades, they've been pushing this, saying that we don't have balance of power and checks and balances, that the president gets to run the show. It's not what the Constitution says. I don't think it's what the founders envisioned, but it is an authoritarian, autocratic government. And when you put that in the hands, particularly of someone like Donald Trump, a narcissist who wants all this power, it is a recipe for tremendous danger and for the consolidation of power that undermines democracy.
And also, the idea of saying that this is about civil service, to me, the concern that I have is it puts this patina on legitimacy. These people are terrorists, right? You're saying, well, I'm going to create the foot soldiers for people who are essentially operating under terrorism. We've seen abundantly clear in the past and present that Trump and the people who still work with him, if they're not in jail by then, have no issue with using violence. So what does that also say? That they want to cover for violent acts?
Great example. Donald Trump has said that if he comes into office, he will pardon the January 6th insurrectionists. Well, let's take another step further. Let's say that he comes back in and there's something like that again.
Right.
He can order, under these new plans, he could order the Justice Department to not prosecute people who attack his political enemies. He could encourage it. Part of this is taking control of the whole federal criminal justice system. So that's what they want to do. It's in the book. The people have been talking about this outside of this project. So he would be able to create his own shock troops and then give them impunity to do whatever he wants to in order to retain power. You know, it really causes the mind to reel if you think about what future elections and politics will look like if one person is given that much power.
Given that much power. Yeah, one man can't have all that power, and it would turn stand back and stand by from just a catchphrase to actual policy. Thank you so much, David.
So that's Project 2025 in a nutshell right there, pause.
Who was that guy doing the interview? Do you know, Paul?
I don't know. Somebody, the dude from the readout, the black dude from the readout.
Okay. He done good. I liked it.
I think it's Jason Johnson, right?
Maybe. Let me see. Hold on. Maybe if I just actually looked at the damn screen. It does not say. No, doesn't say. The person being interviewed was David Korn.
I think he's at Mother Jones.
I recognized his voice, David Korn, but I didn't know who was doing the interview. I didn't recognize him, and I liked the way he was. Yeah, he was on point, and yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the guy's name. Let me see. Maybe it's up. I'm going to run it back real quick one time from the beginning.
Crackpots, insurrectionists, and weekend terrorists are laying the groundwork to turn our government.
Nope. No name. The no-name announcer. Uh-oh. Miss Sweet Pea, no.
Y'all making Sweet Pea work pretty hard. She just woke up. She's drinking.
What you want me to do? She requested the mic.
No, it was Jason Johnson, Mud Puppy. He sits in a lot for Joy Reid or sometimes even Chris Hayes.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Sweet Pea.
You're welcome.
What you smoking on?
Ari Melba. Also for Ari Melba.
No, I'm still waking up, Polly. I ain't smoking yet, but I'm working on it.
Okay. All right. Let me know when you start rolling up, and I can start rolling up, and we burn it down and all that. You know what I mean? What's up, Ingrid? Oh, you was coming up here to give that same answer, wasn't you?
Yeah, Jason. He also works. He also covers for Ari Melber as well.
I'm sure he does. Does he have a Twitter account, and what is it under, if you don't mind me asking?
I think it's Professor, because he's also a teacher at, I think, Morgan State. I'm trying to remember let me see if I see it in case. Let me just check.
It's under Dr. Jason Johnson, Kyle.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Was that helpful, my puppy? Good talk. Gala, what's up?
Hey, I just wanted to say hi to everybody.
Hi, Gala.
Hello.
My puppy.
You drinking mouthwash tonight?
Oh, messed up.
No, but I am drinking milkshake.
Oh, nice.
Strawberry.
That's better. That's better than mouthwash.
Ingrid, what's up? Ingrid. What is wrong with y'all today?
Thank y'all for that. I know who that. I know who that is. I'm just not good with names. I appreciate Sweet Pea giving me that name, but I know who that was. Now I just didn't recognize his voice. I can guess over the Twitter deal. But I appreciate y'all.
Mm-hmm.
You guys remember who David Cohn was?
Who?
David, the guy he was interviewing. You guys remember what he did for us back in the day? He's the one that wrote about the 47% with Mitt Romney when he was talking about the 47%ers.
And here comes your puzzle. You chose place.
We got about 7 minutes left before. No, you can hear. Wasn't nobody talking. We got about 7 minutes before we migrate over and we all get an education about this Project 2025 situation. You know what I mean? Because, like, I think there's also, I don't know what you call it, when the thing that you're fear-mongering about is valid. Like, you understand? Like, I don't want to call this fear-mongering, but y'all should be devastatingly afraid right now of this shit that's about to happen if these Republicans get that fucking get that fucking White House back. Just saying. It's not nothing like you think this country is going to be, and everybody is so comfortable in the idea that this country can't change when this shit is definitely about to be the Handmaid's Tale without the sexual assault. Literally. And that's only because the Republican women can still have babies. If that was a problem, then we would literally have the exact Handmaid's Tale right now. Just saying. Might want to focus up, guys, because the fear-mongering is, like I said, I don't know. I guess just fear. It's not fear-mongering when this fear is actual. That's what it is. I'm looking for a word. I already said it. It's fear. Wait, here comes this very intelligent young lady. Loves to hear what she has to say. Give a second to connect. Lady Espresso. Good talk, good talk. You connected, fool? We can't hear you if you're talking. Right on.
Hey, I'm gonna drop off, but hopefully I see you guys in the space soon. And thanks for your assistance and help.
As soon as you start it, send me the DM, and then I'm gonna send all of them over there, and then I'm coming over there. You about to be Project 2025 doubt B. Lady Espresso, are you there? What's up, Gala?
I just wanted to say, I hope you guys are discussing Project 2025 to your loved ones, just so they're aware, or like send them a link of like.
A lot of us aren't even aware yet.
Oh, I know that, but I meant like.
We got to get informed real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Like
we gotta
inform them what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, the first step in that, we got to inform ourselves.
Yeah, that's true.
That little news report I just played is not. It's 900 pages. That little news report is like just a little teeny tiny examples pulled out of that shit. You understand?
Yes.
And that's it's basically turning Donald Trump to Adolf Hitler. That's what that is basically doing. So I don't think we want that.
Hell no.
Absolute power is crazy. Yeah, but we are. Oh, here go Lady Espresso. I'm waiting for the DM, and we gonna head over there. Support the homie. What's up, Lady Espresso?
Hi, I apologize because something is going on with this app. I was trying to come up to talk to Mud Puppy because I know that we were trying to go through that document. I did want to say that I'm really interested for the discussion on page 553 with the building of the cop cities that are happening in different states. Because based on what this document is basically saying, let's say if you were like like you went through the justice system and you were found not guilty. If the federal government, as this document would like to bring to fruition, decides that, hey, I think that person should have been found guilty, then they could just step in and ensure that you're found guilty. And then on top of that, they want those federal agencies to have the way they phrased it, it was like increase the federal law enforcement presence in such jurisdictions. So if you're in an area where they're seeing that, oh, criminals, quote unquote criminals, are being acquitted, then or having so I'm assuming that they're probably looking at like the prosecutor's like rate of conviction, I guess would be what they would be looking at. They could just arbitrarily decide that you're letting too many people free, you're not locking enough people up, so we're going to send federal agents to ensure that that happens. This is really scary.
Ooh, thank you, Lady Espresso. That right there just tells you that police state right there turns you into a police state.
You know,
any other authoritarian.
You know, the homie probably needs you to spit that whole shit again in the other space in a minute, right?
And I don't even know if I can do that. Like it took all my brain power to do that. I'm so sorry. I just had an edible.
Nah, it's not my space. I don't know.
It's hitting, so I will try.
Well, these guys heard you, so
yeah,
if you don't feel like getting up there, somebody else could steal your spot.
That was perfect.
But the other thing too that's crazy is that they can actually come after like what does it say here?
See, she about to tell us. Oh, she just comfortable with us. That's why she don't want to go over there with the
Yeah, I
strangers
feel very
and all that
comfortable with
shit.
you guys.
Yeah,
You
no
know I
doubt.
have this like public speaking
doubt.
thing. Even though this is like I'm talking into a phone, you would think I'd be over it, but
we here, B.
This is really crazy. Like this, like it's all the connection, because my brain just made a connection. Like, why are they building all these cop cities? Why do we need all these extra cops? I know that currently they're saying that we have a shortage, right? Of police, I think, but the way, like, when I was reading about the potential number of officers that they would be pumping in and out, I don't know. It seemed a bit excessive. But now reading this, I'm like, they would need that though. Like, I don't know. I just think it's connected. So I don't know. Just take what I'm saying as conjecture. But when I read that, I just thought about the cop cities. So anyway, I'm yielding.
Appreciate you. Federico, I think.
Hi, everybody.
Fix your mic.
Hi, everybody.
What up?
So, can we just clap for Lady Espresso? She just is high as hell on an edible and still more intelligent than everybody in the room.
No, you didn't go there.
She just ate a whole edible and she sounded like a lawyer. That was impressive. That was very commendable.
That's what you came up here to say.
Most
for
lawyers I know are pretty stoned most of the time.
Yeah, I was fucking impressed. It sounded super smart, and then all of a sudden she's like, "I ate an edible, and I'm still a brain."
You could have DM'd her that. Sweetie, what's up? I'm just fucking.
Damn, Polly.
Okay. The thing I wanted to point out with this 2025 project, look at the footnotes, look at the people who have written it. I haven't looked at it yet, but from what I've heard, Leonard Leo is all throughout this. So he's already he's already targeted the judicial system. They've been putting people in place, in positions for a long time. So just a heads up on that. And yes, it should scare the shit out of everybody. So, and Polly, I have to say, I know you're a big boy. I know you can take care of yourself, but for some reason, these that guy last night was like very Steve Bannon-ish to me. Okay.
You were honest.
All right. Okay. There you go.
Alex Jones-ish. You know.
All righty. I just I know you're aware, but I don't I just.
What are you worried about?
I'm worried.
What are you worried about?
I'm worried.
You think they're gonna get me over to the dark side?
No, but I think that somebody in your room listening,
I mean, if they are,
might be susceptible.
Yeah, I think that if anybody saw that exchange and thought that he was the smarter person, because it's not like we just kept yelling and cutting him off. He was the one that was doing that, and he was wrong every time. So, I don't know. If somebody is susceptible to that, you know, it's like, I don't know if I want that person around me. Like, maybe they should go with Barry. You know?
Good point. Good point.
That's the issue, motherfuckers like that. Like, motherfuckers being susceptible to that. If you're susceptible to that, and then when presented with facts, you can't change your mind, there's no way I want you to marry me anyway. So this is good. This is a weed out situation, if anything.
I know. I'm just a natural born warrior.
Yeah.
That's my nature. So,
because like this is the thing. We make people look stupid every day, like mad stupid. Like without the aggression, I can do it. You see, like a lot of times I use the regular ass voice. If I use that same regular ass voice the whole entire night, it still would have been the same exact outcome. The person's gonna look stupid. You know what I'm saying, Federico?
So that I read a good chunk of that project 2025, and it's startled me to the point that I realized I have to fly back to Nicaragua and renew my passport as a contingency plan if they were to ever attack naturalized citizens, because being an immigrant to this country and not being a native born citizen. And the fact that I have to design a contingency plan, I do not believe is an overreaction, but a proportional response to the extreme nature of the document. It'll be fascism. We're already at pseudo-fascism, and it'll push us to the edge. There's it's a really and what's disturbing is a lot of portions of the document are being implemented at the state level, and many different, not like all of them at once in one state, but just it's different components in different states, whether they've had success or not. That's a different story. So it's being enacted right now. And, one of the things is, like, for example, they want to take away voting centers at universities because they know Gen Z will not vote for them. And that's voter suppression. And that's just one example of what's in that document. And I'll land my plane there. Thanks.
Kyle, you was trying to speak, bro?
Yeah, I figured it out. I was going to ask if I was looking at the page 553 up on the. It's got a little page number when you scroll at the top, but it's actually the actual page 553 she was talking about. I believe that number on the actual page. Is that right, Lady Espresso?
Oh yes, I'm sorry. I should have clarified. Yes, the number on the actual PDF page, not the application that you're using to scroll through the pages.
Thank you. Yeah, I found it. I appreciate it.
No problem. Has that space started yet?
I'm looking. Hold on. Okay. Yes, it has, but my puppy apparently is doing something Christmas tree related at this second, so she's not taking the mic yet. She's gonna DM me when she's actually getting on stage, and then we gonna just flood in there like, yo, what's good, B? What up? See, we got
Jacob Chansley's holding this space right now.
Again?
Yeah.
Nah, fuck that.
On the J6 PsyOps.
Oh, nah, we gotta stream that until she DM me.
Shit, I'm going over there.
We gotta stream that until she DM me. If Twitter was a place, I'd be a fucking menace, bro. If Twitter was like a physical place, I'd be a whole menace. Okay. Wow. Welcome back.
Well, my campaign strategy is going to be very different.
Jesus.
Because my election is local. It's here in Arizona. So if RFK truly is running for president, then his has to be national. Mine has to be largely local. Now, I am doing whatever podcasts or radio interviews or whatever I can, but at the same time, I'm also doing my best to collect signatures here in the 8th Congressional District in Arizona, and it's only the 8th Congressional District here in Arizona that is going to be able to vote for me or not. They're going to be the only ones that are able to sign my petition or not. So my strategy is one where I want to be the antithesis to all the things that are wrong with the American political system. I don't want any part of all of the problems that have created more problems here in the United States. And I think that platform in and of itself is a winning strategy, because I think most of the American people can agree with the problems that I don't want to be a part of. Seabird.
Hey, Jake. This is Shipwire Dave. Yeah, I've been following you around for a while, and first I wanted to say, I'm grateful for you, grateful for your service, and everything that you do and have done and continue to do. You certainly earn my respect. I consider you a brother from another mother all day long. And I know there's a lot of other people that consider you that way as well. So we're behind you 110%. Many of us have been doing this for years, trying to push information out, many of us have been attacked in many different ways. And you just got to be strong you're doing everything right. Continuing to stay, out there. Exposure does protect you. Many of us are on many different platforms pushing information. The way you're doing it, it is about love and light. We are all one. That's what it's about. And, maintaining a positive message. The one thing I would recommend for everybody is, you see these situations that are not good, and, just think about it as like it's a weed, that came and grew in your yard. You can try and rip it out. It may spread, right? But what you can do is you can plant seeds, flower seeds all around that weed. And if you grow tall flowers, it'll starve out that weed. And that's what we need to continue to do as a society. Love will prevail. So, right now it's just a uncomfortable time, for many people. And, I have a feeling this is just the beginning. But, we keep the message consistent. We stay together. Where we go one, we go all. That's not just a saying. We are literally all one people. So it's just about everybody waking up to it.
The whole Q-anon
But continue what you're doing. I love it. Thank you. And guys, just remain aware of the coincidences that are occurring. Like the sheriff, police chief going to Maui, and there's just kind of weird things, right, that are coincidental. That you start connecting dots. Continue to stay curious. Keep smiling through the whole process, because it's a marathon, right? Not a sprint. But we will win. God won. We all win. Thank you, Jake.
Thank you. I appreciate you, man. I really do. All right. Well, let's go to John Galt. They were one of the first ones in here, and they might be on a PC. So, and then we'll go to Mr. Trumptastic, and then we'll go to Pack Chick, and then we'll go over to Joel, and then Jenny, and then we'll wrap it up with Bill, and then we'll close it out.
Oh shit! Joel is on stage.
Hey, Jake, just want to say I appreciate you. How can we support you here in Arizona? I went up to that office on 24th Street in Phoenix, and it was closed. That's the office that I've gone to for years. So the Republican Party in Arizona is total crap. Just want to know, since you're probably not going to get a lot of support from them, could you at least put in like the comments of this chat of how we can maybe go to one of your events?
That's two things shut down. That
some information on
pill company that he's getting the pills from that he sells, that shit is shut down too.
What you can do every Saturday at noon,
breath, ladies and gentlemen.
I go down to the Arizona State Capitol
every Saturday at noon,
and I say a prayer and do a guided meditation.
Wow.
You can listen to the guided meditation here on X and through the spaces that we do, or you can just show up in person. We do that every Saturday. Regarding like public speaking events and stuff, I'm currently waiting for my website to drop, because my website is going to have the digital link for people to sign the petition so I can get on the ballot. And I'm not going to be doing paper signatures. I want it all to be digital so it can all be verified and certified right then and there. I also have another idea, because I'm not accepting any campaign donations, whether it be from super PACs or,
I'm getting in my RV.
Political parties, or especially the American people. The times are so hard, I would rather people keep their money. I have an idea of what I can do, or what we can do as kind of a grassroots movement. If you really do want to, like, say, put a sign in your front yard or something like that, then we have a way that people can go about doing that. That's also going to be on the website. And once the website drops, I'm going to come out and do like a spaces about it. I'll probably do, some local events here in District 8 where I'm going to, certain locations, burger joints, or maybe even like, billiard and dart, establishments and stuff like that. Places where people gather, local parks, and do stuff like that to gather signatures and kind of help spread the message. So once all that goes down, once all that happens, you will know. I'm going to put it up on my profile here. You're going to see the website. There's going to be all sorts of cool stuff you can check out. And, you can help spread messages through memes, or you can, like I said, if you want to get a sign for your front yard, we're going to have a way that you can go about doing that yourself. So all of that being said, if you want to come down to the Capitol on Saturday at noon, feel free. We meet in the bowl every Saturday. We say a prayer and we do a guided meditation, and then hang out for like an hour or two, and then we go home. Let's go over to, I believe it was Mr. Trump.
This is Mr. Trump Tastic. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, man. Thanks for having me on the show, man. I just got 2 words for y'all. Ray Epps. Ray Epps. And Jesus the thing Christ, is, about January 6th, I was there live. I do music and all that. I was there live with the Mr. Trump Tastic jacket. I just was peeping the scenery, and I was like, there's something don't smell right. And I was looking to my wife. Alias. See, I know what a real Trump supporter look like. You get what I'm saying? I could figure out people within the first 5 minutes of looking at them. Because I look at symbolism, and when they do these psyops, they send these agitators out, and it gets real confusing. So people didn't look at what was going on January 6th. The man's confused. I don't think people was aware of what was going on, and I believe that both sides knew what was going to happen. Whoever fell into that hole was going to get sacrificed either way. So that's all I wanted to say, because, man, innocent people got sucked down a dark path, and that was to discourage everybody from voting for Trump 2024. So that also discouraged a lot of people, and people left it alone. Now we got the leader, what is he getting, 28 years, 30 years? So he's going to have to make a choice, but I believe Trump will erase all the charges like it never even happened. But, I mean, people had to sacrifice for the love of their country. I know people were kind of naive, but, better days are ahead. And that's all I wanted to drop off, some words of encouragement. But we need street smarts, too. We need book smarts and street smarts to tackle this problem.
Well, I appreciate where you're coming from. If you weren't in the beginning of the space, I would encourage you to go back and listen to it from the get-go. The first 45 minutes is just a total breakdown of how...
Come the fuck on, Jake.
In politics with y'all, but yeah, man, check me out on Spotify. I got a song called Ray Epps too. Yeah. Yeah, I make sure I still tell the story right, you know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of infiltrators in this movement that's trying to take, that's trying to, you get what I'm saying? They send them over all the way. So that's what's going on too behind the veil.
Absolutely. Okay, we're going to go over to, I believe it's Jenny and then Joel, and then wrap it up with Bill.
I'm just here to hear. I'm here. Go ahead.
Well, why'd you ask for a speaker's position then, Goop?
Because there's a dude that was chewing me out not that long ago that's sitting right down there. I was just wondering what he was doing. That's all.
Oh, who was it?
Joel. A couple of these dudes in that one space that were just talking mad crap for like an hour, and I just found it interesting. I was just going to be prepared to Respond.
What were they saying this time?
Joel got busted.
What were you saying, Joel?
I have no idea. I was in a space with Polly and Dr. Copeland with Jake, and I was actually really impressed by Jake. I think Jake really, you held your own. I thought you were going to go down like the Hindenburg, but you held it up. You spoke well. There was no bumfuzzle there, or any guff, and it was pretty nice.
You used one of the words. Bumfuzzle was one of the words.
Looking forward to a follow-on space, Jake. You said you wanted to do a receipt-based, and I'd be super interested in that. You had 5 guys on your side, 5 guys on their side, and Dr. Copeland and all those guys would be really cool. It'd be really cool to have you go up against them. So I was just wondering if that was going to happen. And also, I was just thinking about, your Mockingbird.
Mad thumbs down. Oh, Mockingbird, that's another word. And, that's 2 of them.
I love the Mockingbird.
That's 2
they
words.
Make a lot of different sounds, and they're super cute. So I just really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that metaphor.
Oh, he already used all 3.
So yeah, just wondering if you're going to do that receipt space with Dr.
I think the
Copeland
3rd one was Dr. Hindenburg.
I'd be keen. Well, like I said to them before, and I'll say it to you now, they're probably listening as it is.
Duh.
I heard all the BS they were talking about behind my back after I left the space, both that night and the next day.
And right now.
I also heard what their plans were, that they were going to basically record the space and try and get something on me where they could compromise my candidacy.
You already did that.
They were going to try to humiliate me with their receipts and destroy my narrative. And, dude, what I'm about is coming to an understanding.
No,
and it's clear to me that people that talk that way don't have any interest in building bridges.
No, we want facts. We want you to stop gaslighting, you punk bitch.
Agree upon.
Dick sucker.
When I was in that space, I did everything that I could to bridge the gap. I did everything that I could to show them who I was, that I'm not what they thought I was. And time and time and time and time again, they insulted my character. They demeaned my intelligence. They just totally marginalized my points.
He's marginalized.
They continued to twist my words and create a straw man argument for which they could then attack and not actually address what it is that I'm saying.
Superior.
They even went as far as to say that I have to stop quoting Dr. Martin Luther King.
Yes, you have to stop quoting Dr. Martin Luther King, white man.
Dr. King stood for, and an admirer of his. I think that is profoundly wrong. And I also think that after the way that I was treated both during the space and the way that subsequently they spoke of me after, it's very, very clear that they have some very real prejudice. And whether it's my skin color or it's the Mockingbird media's narrative about me.
Male version.
It's mad white people that want his neck. He talk about skin color. It's mad white people that want his neck.
They have some serious prejudice.
What?
And
we're racist.
Considering the way that they were talking about me behind my back, considering some of the things that were said proverbially to my face, and considering
do you think Trump
prejudice,
so Trump only debates motherfuckers that he agrees with?
Not interested whatsoever in building bridges, but just want to defame me further, smear my image, and destroy my credibility. I have no interest. I have better things to do with my time than try to convince a bunch of people that trust the government not to do so. If you can't see that the government has been lying to you and screwing you over for decades, if you can't see that the very party that you've been supporting has been breaking every single promise that they give you year after year after year, decade after decade after decade, if you want to trust the FBI, if you want to trust the CIA, if you want to trust the Mockingbird media, then go ahead and do it. You want to trust Dr. Fauci? Go ahead and do it. I have no interest other than trying to save you from yourself. But if you don't want saving, I'm not going to try to save a drowning person. That's how they bring you down with them. So
when is the last time you seen Dr. Fauci on TV?
My answer is
the last time I seen him was when he retired, when he announced his retirement.
They're going to feel the sting.
Plus, they're scared of a whole elf.
Presence. They can host whatever space they want with my handle in the space title, and they can say whatever they want. Lions do not lose sleep over the opinions of sheep. Wise men do not try to convince fools of their folly, and a wise man knows that holding his tongue will allow silence to speak for him.
Pause.
I appreciate that, Jake, and I appreciate
Wait a minute. You stayed in that space for like 2 fucking hours.
I'm coming from another country, so I'm
what a shitcock he is.
I am interested in what goes on over there, and I appreciate these different points of view. So yeah, thanks for getting back to me on that, and I hope I can come into this space in the future and hear what you've got to say, because it's different point of view. Well, listen to the space from the beginning. Okay. And trust me, it'll create some clarity.
Uh-oh.
All right.
You must have just changed your mind, like, recently. Like, over the last couple of days, you must have just changed your mind.
He never said he changed his mind.
I find it really
He
interesting.
literally never said he changed his mind.
Clip to space the last time I heard you speak about him. I was shocked, and I actually blocked you because the nasty stuff that you said. So I think it's really great that
we following each other. We have DM history. Why didn't she block me? And I'm the host.
You said some horrific insults.
Is it a content thing? She don't want to cut the content off?
You were laughing. You thought it was funny. It was gross. Because if you notice in those spaces, he never called anybody names. I didn't call anybody names either. Nobody insulted anybody's personality or who they were.
That's the snitch.
It was constant assault.
That's Jenny. We had a whole thing with her the next day. Just as long as Jake.
Very welcome to clip it and send it to me. I guess you can't because you blocked me, but that's okay.
No, I think that the people that were hosting the space weren't as difficult as the people who were coming up and speaking. But I just don't like.
So then, what's the issue?
Blunt. I like them.
You like people to be blunt, and real.
Yeah,
but
well, I'm coming in.
People telling Jake how they feel about him is an issue.
I've got my own opinions, and I'm going to be polite when I'm coming into someone else's space. I do have my
definitely debunked me in real time when I said I got DM history and we following each other. She said the people as soon as I said that, she was like, the people that were hosting the space when I was like,
punches in the other. I don't agree with what Jake has done. I don't agree with the January 6th narrative. I don't agree with
Jake. Joe.
But I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to get a different point of view. So, if that gets me blocked, that's fine. But I don't know.
No, it wasn't that. It was you were making fun of him. I'll just flip it because what you're doing right now is interesting, but it doesn't work with me. But I appreciate it. And hey, I would say
interesting.
Diplomatic.
It was very interesting when when you came in here.
Yeah, well, I don't say things that I don't
like when she came in here. Oh, you know what? She keeps debunking my shit. I don't like this lady. Jenny definitely.
He has totally taken.
Hold on. The way I look at it, bro, is you can't trust who people are to your face. You got to trust who people are behind your back. And absolutely, I appreciate
video evidence
you've been cordial and kind,
not being let in by the police,
been rude or insulting. I appreciate that. But if people show you who they are, you gotta believe them. Absolutely, you know what I'm saying. So, and I know that
doesn't change you not being able to win a debate against us. That has nothing to do with you being able to win a debate against us.
You're welcome to have
asinine, ass 10, ass 11.
And I believe in the notion of free speech. I believe in the notion of, the person's ability to make their mind up for themselves. Yeah. But I also think it's important to note that once your opposition has turned to insults, you've won the argument. If they cannot argue with you in your points on an intellectual level, then they will result to insults and name calling. And I didn't call anybody names in that space, even though they were calling me names. I didn't insult anybody's intelligence. None of that. In spite of the fact that it was done to me over and over and over and over and over again. Because that's just who I am, bro. And I would caution you and anyone else that was in that room that participated in such intellectual bludgeonry to look in the mirror.
Wild pussy.
And
listen to this recording. You are pussy.
The kind of values you want to represent?
Yeah, you were intellectually budgeted.
That's exactly what got happened. You got washed up. What is this tolerant left shit? Why do y'all think I'm tolerant?
Because if that's what you were, then you would not treat somebody the way that I was treated.
What's crazy is, out of everybody on that stage that said fucked up shit to him, I'm probably the worst demon in that space. Okay. And I was the most cordial with him out of everybody. The fuck is he talking about?
Negative people. It's not a good use of your time.
I thought this motherfucker said nigga.
My last comment really was going to be on...
I was about to blow the burner, y'all.
Did he just say that? He said negative. Talk about Mockingbird media. It's bigger than that. It's all mainstream media, coupled with big tech. So mainstream media pushes out propaganda. Big tech suppresses our voices. Right. That's why I think it's very important, and I'm so glad you're taking advantage of spaces and X. Thank God for Elon. Right. He's willing to tell his advertisers, "Go fuck yourself. I'm not going to be blackmailed. Right, for money. It's more than money for me. It's about free speech." He said that from day one. So we have to take advantage of this. We have to circle the wagons. We have to take advantage of each other. If you don't feel like your voice is being heard, tag me in your post. I'll amplify it. Get on spaces. Anybody can talk. Grab a mic. Talk. Right? So we got to get your message out, Jake, and we will do it. God bless you.
Thank you, and God bless you as well. I'm sorry to the people that are requesting to speak. It's not that I want to censor you whatsoever. Please don't get the wrong idea. I have to go to the gym, and I also want to make sure that this space is short enough to where when people see it, they're like, "Oh, I could give an hour and 15 minutes. All right, I'll check it out." That's kind of the idea of keeping the space short. So if you're just coming into the space, I would highly encourage you to please go to the beginning. Listen to especially the first 45 minutes or so, because that's where I really explain and make the case for the idea of J6 being a setup, the psyop that ensued afterward, and the the consequential precedent that was set after the setup and the psyop took place, and how it is that we find ourselves in the place that we're in. So thank you all for your time. Thank you all for your attention. Sending you all love, and be on the lookout for future spaces. I'm going to start doing these more often now. So, if you're on the stage and you didn't get a chance to speak now, maybe write down your question or write down your thoughts. And the next time we get in the space, I will do my best to remember each of your faces. Brooke, Joseph, S3 family, and Anil. I will do my best to remember you guys and give you a chance to speak. So much love and God bless. Namaste.
All right. They ended the space. I just put the link to the space Mud Pumpy is in the chat. Actually, I guess I should have put that in the Jumbotron. I just put it in the chat, and I'm going to give it 1 minute until all y'all disappear off the screen. I'm going to end this, and we're going to go over there. Everybody, I guess I got to find it for y'all now. Damn it. Where's my post? Here we go. Bow. All right, it's in the Jumbotron. Start heading over there, y'all. Why is everybody still here, literally? Like, what is happening? Joe, we going over to the space in the Jumbotron. Click on that space in the Jumbotron. We heading over there.
There's nothing up in the Jumbotron.
I see it. Is it popped up for anyone else? No, that's why everybody's leaving.
No.
Okay. There's something wrong with your phone.
I don't see anybody leaving.
Everybody's leaving.
I don't see anybody leaving. Phyllis is here. Libby's here. Gala's
they
here.
Sleeping. Miss Phyllis and Libby's sleeping.
Libby's not sleeping.
Do y'all not see the post in the Jumbotron at all? Anybody? Nobody?
No.
I don't see no thumbs down. I'm telling you, everybody else is not by their phone.
I see streaming, Jake.
That's the title.
Oh. Okay, see you later.
Thank you, Eugene. All right, everybody. I'm about to end it. See y'all in the other space. Just go give my puppy a little bit of support, y'all. Good job, Joe. We see you over there. Support, y'all. Good job, Joe. We see you over there.